Welcome to the Principality Stadium. Welcome to the start of the 2023 Six Nations. It is finally here. Wales against Ireland is fast approaching, and we are about to find out if Warren Gatland is going to officially be outed as a magician and reverse Wales rugby fortunes. Or can Ireland continue their upward trajectory and overcome their Cardiff misery? They have not won here now in 10 years. I'm Sarah Orchard. Alongside me today we have former Wales centre Tom Shanklin and former Ireland wing Dennis Hickey. So much has already happened. How are you both before we get down to business?
I'm fine. Got into Cardiff early this morning, and as I was in Cardiff I saw Donco O'Callaghan running past me in gym kit.
Nice.
And there was me with 2 bacon sandwiches and a coffee, and I just thought, I wish I could be more like you.
Dennis, how's your morning gone?
It's been a little disrupted by some of the late changes from the Irish team have had to make, but it's great to be in Cardiff. It's great to be back to the Six Nations. I won my first cap here in the old Arms Park. That's how old I am. So it's always a special city to come back, and everyone's in great form. And the start of Six Nations, everyone's optimistic. Everyone's in with a shout, irrespective of from where the two teams have come from. You can see there's a palpable sense of hope again here in Wales with Warren Gatland back, and the city is thronging with people, both sides, supporters. It's fantastic.
I was a little bit keen this morning, and I went out for a run about 8 a.m. and there was just a whole road of coaches with Irish supporters making their way off and flooding into the city for breakfast.
Have they all come from Portugal with the team? But it's one of those trips. Like, this is the beauty. Like, when you get to retire, you get to visit these cities as a fan, and you can see what you missed as a player, because as a player you go to these places and you're sort of cocooned in your hotel, but as a fan now you get to experience some of the best cities in Europe.
You really, really do. Now listen, Dennis, you did allude to it, so let's get down to the big business of the day. No Jameson Gibson Park for Ireland. That was the headline that came out a few hours ago. Conor Murray will be starting at scrum half. Craig Casey could make his Six Nations debut now off the bench. There is also a change on the bench as well. Dave Kilcoyne is coming in for Cian Healy. I mean, when it comes to big names, what was your reaction when you heard it?
Well, Conor Murray's a hugely experienced player. Lions, 3 Lions tours. So we know what we're going to get with Conor Murray. Obviously, Andy Farrell picked him against South Africa, but Jameson Gibson Park has been central to Ireland's developed and evolved game plan in the last 2 seasons. And what he does, I think, is good, if not better than most scrum halves in the world. He gets the ball away from the contact area very, very quickly. And so much of Ireland's rolling play, so much of the Irish game plan and their variety in attack is based off that. So without that, Ireland would be a different team. So it would be really up for Conor Murray. Ireland are going to change their game plan because they have a different scrum half. So Conor Murray really has to step up and deliver the same.
Yeah, it'd be too late to change complete game plan. Conor Murray's box kicking's really good, but in terms of speed of play, I think Jameson Gibson Park was more influential in that Ireland team than someone like Johnny Sexton, because of the way he dictates the pace of play. The way Ireland play really suits Jameson Gibson Park. So I think it's a massive loss for Ireland.
And if we go back to a little bit earlier in the week, when it comes to Wales, the headline there was we were expecting to see Leif Halfpenny playing at fullback, and there was this very strange narrative around it, and that Warren Gatland came out and said, Liam Williams, he's been out injured, he's had concussion this season, he's had a hand injury, he broke his collarbone at the end of the season. He said he just doesn't have enough game time. All of a sudden, Halfpenny out, Liam Williams is starting.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me too much, because they're both good. If anything, having Liam Williams at 15 adds to the attacking game. Lee Halfpenny's been excellent when he's come back for the Scarlets. Defensively, really sound. He's the goalkeeper. He's the last line of defence. Nails people. Really good kicking game, but quite pragmatic in the way he plays, which suits Warren Gatland to an extent. But Liam Williams coming in certainly doesn't hinder Wales.
I want to talk to you particularly, Dennis Hickey, about the back three, because I've been listening to Hugo Keenan, I should say, in Portugal. They've been having a lovely time out there away from all the dramas going on in rugby union right now. And Hugo Keenan was very honest with what happened in the autumn. He said, look, we got through it, we got 3 wins, but we perhaps weren't at our best. Perhaps we got away with one. He said, in particular against Australia, the back three, he felt that Australia beat them aerially. Would you agree with that? That's an area for improvement?
Yeah, it's hard to be critical of a team who beats New Zealand, South Africa and Australia in the one
but
season.
We will. Come
and
on.
Ireland haven't. No, but I mean, particularly from a back three, and Hugo Keenan himself, I think he's been fantastic. He's just been Ireland's star performer as far as I'm concerned. Kind of a bit of an unsung hero. People talk about Sexton, they talk about players like Tyke Furlong also not playing, but I think he's a fantastic player. So clearly very honest, but I think maybe they got away with a little bit, but they're still a fine back three, and you expect them to be heavily involved today.
What do you think that kicking game is going to be like from Wales, Tom Shanklin, just on the basis of the fact that we still don't know what Warren Gatland is going to deploy here? I mean, especially when you've got Joe Hawkins wearing 12. He's not a traditional 12 Gatland pick.
No, he's not. I thought Gatland might have gone for Kieran Williams, who's been excellent form for the Ospreys, who gives you gain line, but Gatland picked the 3 best scrum halves at box kicking for a reason, because it's such a big part of the game, and we will see a lot of kicking. I'm not quite sure what Wales we're going to see and whether we're going to be more expansive than we've seen previously. I think we have to be. If you want to win more games now, we have to score more tries. At the moment, it's around 2 tries a game we're scored. But when you have another ball player in that back line, all of a sudden the 12 now, everyone's looking at what 12 teams are picking as to see how they're going to play, because the 12 is so vital to your attack now. If you've got a 12 that can take the ball flat, that can deliver the passes behind, you can play a little bit wider and you can play in those wide channels, and that suits Wales. Look at the back row they picked. They picked a mobile back row. There's not too many big carriers there, so I don't think we can take Ireland on physically. I think we have to take them out wide, around the edges.
Yeah, just dealing with that back three and what way that Wales might play. Coming back to the team, James Lowe, he's only played 4 games this year. He's been out for a lot. He's missed a lot of rugby. He had to go back to New Zealand for family reasons.
It's been a mixture of injury and family.
Yeah. So but the reality is he's only played 4 games. Johnny Sexton would have played 6 games this year. Yeah, when you think of Gary Ringrose probably played 13, 14 games. So how I think Lowe is an area. I think James Lowe is probably one of the guys that Wales will test. Him in the air. Certainly Rusty hasn't played since before Christmas. But to Tom's point, everyone is talking about the lead up to this game. How are Wales going to stop Ireland playing? But it's really how are Wales going to play? Because they're going to have the ball. What kind of way are they going to go back to the old Warren Gatland game plan? The game has moved on, so let's see what they have to show in attack.
Yeah, you're right. You want to see a scrum on the halfway line, for instance, or a line out, and you want to see Wales have a go. You don't want to see them put the ball out and try and test the 50. You want to actually go out and see them play, because Wales' strength, look at that back three. What's the point in having Josh Adams, Liam Williams, Rio Dyer if they're not going to get the ball early?
I've got a smile on my face because the Six Nations is about to start. The flame throwers are going off in front of us. That heat is coming. I'm not even wearing a coat as I'm sat here in the Principality. The roof is on. It is that warm, and we're about to see the teams come out onto the pitch. Listen to this roar. The Six Nations is about to start. Expense has been spared on the pyrotechnics here. I feel like I get a suntan here right now, such as the heat emanating off the pitch. As Ireland come out, they're onto the left-hand side of the field for the anthem. Wales come out towards the right-hand side. Of course, when it comes to Wales, they have just been led out by none other than Ken Owens, friend, of course, of the Rugby Union Daily Pod, the sheriff himself, who is in charge today. No doubt we'll have plenty of discussion about him. And alongside him is Alan Wynne-Jones. I mean, it is still so strange, isn't it, Tom, to see Alan Wynne-Jones not in charge? Yeah, it is. But he's not one of the guarantee selections at the moment. And to be captain, you need to be guaranteed your spot. Ken Owens has been wonderful in the autumn. He's still one of Wales' best carriers, and it's a massive privilege for him to captain his country. Well, there is, of course, a reminder, that rugby is against racism in all forms. That is the message being given to everyone inside the Principality right now. We'll have the anthem shortly. Then after that, of course, we'll run you through the team news before kick-off. Just a reminder that whilst you're listening here on 5 Live Sports Extra to Wales against Ireland, coming up on 5 Live later, there will be full commentary of England against Scotland, the Calcutta Cup match. That kicks off at 4:45. So as soon as the football is over on 5 Live, they will head straight to Twickenham. Right then, everyone is now on their feet, and we will have the anthems, starting with Ireland's call. Listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. We're live at the Principality Stadium. Next you'll hear Land of My Fathers. Been sung with more passion than by Ken Owens right there as he captains Wales in this opening Six Nations match against Ireland. I'm going to run you through the teams in a few moments time, but Tom Shanklin, how was that for you?
Brilliant. You don't want to get too close to Ken Owens and Alan Wynne-Jones when they're singing. They'll swallow you up. You know, they love singing the anthem. They sing it with passion. You couldn't have got a bigger mouth than that on Ken Owens.
Let's run you through these lineups, starting off with Ireland. Fullback, of course, Hugo Keenan. Onto the wings, we've got Mac Hansen and James Lowe. Into the centres, of course, Stuart McCloskey will wear 12, as there's ongoing injuries, of course, to Robbie Henshaw, with Bundy Aki also being named on the bench. He'll be alongside Gary Ringrose, who wears 13. Into the half-backs, of course, it's Johnny Sexton wearing 10, never in doubt, of course, but the big news of the day was that Conor Murray, he is starting. He's wearing 9 after an injury to Jameson Gibson Park. Moving into the forwards, Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan and Finlay Bealham make up your front row. The big news earlier this week being that Tag Furlong is out injured. Into the second row, Tag Byrne and James Ryan make up that second row partnership, and the back row made up of Peter O'Mahony, of course red carded here 2 years ago, such an impact that had on the game that day. Josh van der Fleer, the reigning World Player of the Year, and Caelan Doris at 8. Onto the bench, it's Herring, Kilcoyne, O'Toole, Henderson, Conan, Casey, Byrne and Aki. Moving on to Wales, of course, it's Liam Williams at 15 after that change, with Lee Halfpenny having to drop out injured. Josh Adams and Rio Dyer make up the wings. Into the centres, George North is alongside Joe Hawkins, only winning his second cap here today, his Six Nations debut. Dan Biggar wins his 104th cap with Thomas Williams at 9. Moving into the forwards, Gareth Thomas, Ken Owens and Thomas Francis. The second row made up of Adam Beard and Alan Wynne-Jones, with Jack Morgan, only his 7th cap from Ospreys, alongside his club teammate Justin Tipperick and Felipe Faletau from Cardiff at 8. Onto that Wales bench, it's Baldwin, Carey, Lewis, Jenkins, Rethel, Webb, Williams and Cuthbert. It will be Ireland who are kicking us off. They'll be travelling from left to right here in the Principality Stadium, of course wearing their green shirts, white shorts and green socks. On the right-hand side of the field, travelling from right to left in this first half, you've got Wales wearing their red shirts, white shorts and red socks. Your referee today is Carl Dixon. Johnny Sexton gets us underway in the 2023 Six Nations, and the ball goes deep down into Wales territory, gathered by Williams, who sends it straight back to this near side, gathered by Hugo Keenan on the halfway line for Ireland. He runs straight into all kinds of trouble, as Joe Hawkins almost tries to hold him up, but he's quickly to ground, and it's Doris who puts his head down. And now not over the gain line here for Ireland. It's a little bit lateral towards the far side. James Lowe has it. He decides to hack the ball on. It's going to be a foot chase out on the left wing, approaching the Wales try line. They're over in the try area now. Liam Williams in a spot of bother. It's going to be hacked away in the end by Josh Adams. That is into touch. They won't be able to take it quickly, but what a position here for Ireland, because that has gone out 10 metres now from the Welsh line.
I thought James Lowe, when he kicked it ahead, I thought he'd taken the wrong decision, and was it going to roll over the goal line or not, but it just bounced up and Liam Williams is forced to play, and it's a great attacking platform. I really think, by the way, Wales are going to go after Ireland in the line out. I think they'll target Dan Sheehan. Warren Gatland is excellent at that.
Dan Sheehan gets the ball in, finds his man in O'Mahony, and here comes the Irish maul. This is their first real chance at an attack in the Six Nations. We are only 1 minute on the clock here on 5 Live Sports Extra. Wales against Ireland, and they pop round the corner through O'Mahony. He's up 5 metres away now from that Welsh line. Murray looks up. Here comes Ringrose. He decides to look for a little bit of hard work. They're not stretched too wide. Matt Hansen is hanging out, but for the time being, they're happy to use the forwards. Busting a gut, working through. Of course, this is going to mean so much. Here comes Finlay Bealham. He really wants to take his opportunity today. Still being directed traffic by our referee, Carl Dixon, from side to side. Ireland don't look in too much of a worry to mix this up so much, and here comes the big bruising run in there by Byrne. How important is he today with that ball? Picked up, it's Doris! Doris goes over! The worst start for Wales! Only 2 minutes on the clock, and Caelan Doris goes over to score for Ireland. Where were the Welsh? Where was the defence?
It only takes one big carry. When you're like 5 metres out, you need one big carry. Tag Byrne gave you that. He got him really close to the line. There's a ruck speed of the ball, which Wales couldn't recover from. And then Doris just hits a really short angle in. But Wales are under a lot of pressure there. All came from that kick, which you mentioned, through from low. Liam Williams had time just to wait that extra second to touch the ball down. He picked it up, and then he got himself in trouble. They kicked it out, and it gave Ireland a line out 5 metres out.
Yeah, I got to state the obvious here. It's just the worst possible start for Wales. After the atmosphere, the passion, the crowd, you can just feel the air going out of the stadium when Ireland kind of confirm what people's worst fears might happen. About the strengths of the two teams.
Here comes Johnny Sexton with the conversion. Of course, he's got that too easy. It was just to the right-hand side of the upright. And this is going to be uncomfortable listening so early on in this match. When I say there's 3 minutes on the clock, it's Wales 0, Ireland 7.
Yeah, Tag Byrne, we're just seeing it was an inside ball from Johnny Sexton. He gets a one-on-one with Jack Morgan and just drives him 2 or 3 metres over the gain line. Then he gets quick ball. Wales can't recover because they've had to jam in. And then it is just one carry from Doris.
Well, that was
try.
a huge restart there, and Peter O'Mahony flew into the air, came down with quite a thud. He seems to be okay, so Wales have managed to push Ireland back towards their own 22. Ireland have held on to that restart ball as it goes into the air through Conor Murray, being chased by Hansen, but Biggar is there to gather. First time we've even mentioned his name so far in this fixture. Here's our first chance to see a Wales attack. They're over inside of Irish territory by 2 or 3 metres, going through the centre of the park. Alan Wynne-Jones manages to pop off the ball to that famous blue scrum cap that can only be Tipperick. As the ball bounces, it's not clean there for Liam Williams to be able to take, and it goes out of play on the far side, and that Irish defence is just really up in Welsh faces.
Yeah, it's getting knocked into touch on your own attack is such a no-no, and it's a soft turnover for Ireland just around this halfway line, and Wales thought they looked like they had a little bit of space on the outside. They just weren't able to get the ball, and the Irish defence stepped in and forced an error.
It was a good play. It was a round the back pass. They put it behind a player, Wales did, but as Dan Biggar got tackled, he threw the ball, it landed on the floor, and then it gave Ireland time to recover.
Leinster Shin finds his man once again in the line-out. Here come Ireland, playing their way out of their own half. Big hits coming in on Caelan Doris, the try scorer. If you're just joining us here on 5 Live Sports Extra, we're only 4 minutes now into this opening Six Nations match. Great take comes in on the far side out there by Josh Adams, but it is Wales 0, Ireland 7, a Caelan Doris try after just 2 minutes. Now Wales have the ball back, but they're inside of their own half. Thomas Williams is waiting to try and kick this one away. He's just waiting for a little bit more space as the Caterpillar was finally deployed. It's going to come down to Murray. He's thumped for his money very quickly in the end by Rio Dyer. I don't think it was Rio Dyer, I think it was actually Dan Biggar in there. So
Josh Adams, I think.
So you just wait for the ball to be recycled out the back by Ireland. Here comes Murray once again, finds the forwards, and Ireland stuck between the 10 and the 22 inside of their own half, just waiting to build something here. The Welsh formation in its strong standard pattern as it's rushed down the far side wing, taken there by James Lowe. Oh, it was almost beautiful. He knocked it on in the process, so they come back for a penalty.
The big thing for Wales at the moment is going to be, can they stop Ireland with their carrying game? Can they hold them back? And there's a couple of big carries there. Tadhg Beirne, Peter O'Mahony, Doris, Van der Fleer. Real big carries. They have to be met on the gain line by Wales. Otherwise, it's just going to be front foot ball all the way.
Yeah, Caelan Doris in particular this season, he had a really, really strong year last year, but this year, November internationals, he's just kind of taken up another step. He's an incredible carrier, and he's a big guy. He's not a huge guy, but he's a very, very, very powerful carrier.
He's powerful.
Yeah, and he takes great angles as well.
It's interesting to see what Wales would do here, because they had quick ball on their 40-metre line, but they chose to slow it down and kick it. So quite a pragmatic approach, I think, to Wales' first 10 minutes.
Well, there was a big conversation going on there between Adam Beard and our referee Carl Dixon. We'll listen in next time that one happens. So clearly they were unhappy. Oh, great take at the back of the line out there by Beirne. Big spinning run. Nice work coming in by Ringrose. And Ireland, they're in a good position just outside of the Welsh 22. They're just always offering those soft shoulders to make their way round the corner. Down on the floor then goes Sheehan. Good supporting run by Andrew Porter. He approaches that 22-metre line, but over the top there, Wales contesting. They're not being allowed to in the end. Back now to Lowe. There's numbers out there for Keenan. Keenan not passing the ball. He's made a good 10 metres all on his own there, the Irish fullback, and back inside the ball goes. It's Beirne on it once again. He's been so busy so far. James Ryan now getting involved. He's offering himself. No, it goes back to Sexton. They decide to keep it tight in that far channel. They don't want to come towards the middle. Porter again. Still Ireland. Can they find a second already? This would really put a dagger to Welsh hearts. This would be so disappointing so early on. Not even 10 minutes on the clock. Beirne again looking for work. He is pushed backwards. That is a huge hit coming in this time from Wales, who realise they're in real trouble.
They've won it.
And it goes over. Referee says no. Let's listen in. He says that Wales are offside. He's going to come back. That will be frustrating because they put in a huge shift there, the Wales forwards.
They just managed a fantastic counter ruck, but the problem for Wales is they're not they haven't so far been able to slow down the ball. Just so we can see, I think it's Tadhg Beirne is getting a bit of treatment, and he's carried, put in a few big carries and taken a few big hits. But key to being able to stop Ireland is stopping that fast ball. When they get into that rhythm, they're very, very hard once they get in behind you.
It was a big run from Hugo Keenan, put the fend on Dan Biggar, but Dan Biggar didn't take him down early enough, and he ended up going probably 10 metres down that left-hand side. All of a sudden then the whole Welsh defence line have to backpedal 10 metres, and then you're just on the back foot.
I'm currently scanning on the benches to see if we can see Ian Henderson anywhere perhaps warming up, because Beirne is still down, although they are now waving his legs around in the air, which I can only assume is a good sign.
Yeah, he's getting a hamstring stretch. I wonder, is it a hamstring stretch or is it cramp? I doubt it's cramp this early. To lose what's his knee? That's it's just the way he took a hit, the way he fell back after a hit from Ken Owens. A really big hit there from Ken Owens, but he's up on his feet, which is good news from an Irish perspective.
Okay, so it was a penalty. Wales were offside, so they're being pushed back onto their own try line, and Ireland's decision is they're going to run this one.
They're going to tap penalty like Leinster have been doing.
And they're off and away. Here they come, this time through Sheehan. He's a metre short. They pop off the ball round the corner once again. I think it was actually Beirne who was on it. They're back to their feet straight away. It's still not over the line. It's another penalty advantage as well. Wales not rolling away. That's surely over the line. It's another try for Ireland. Not 10 minutes on the clock. It is now Ireland 12, Wales 0. We still have a conversion to come.
I thought it was going to be some sort of intricate tap penalty like we've seen from Leinster. It wasn't. It was just a tap and go. And Wales initially halted them pretty well, but then speed of ball really good. We're just looking at the try now as it comes out. It goes right. James Ryan, he gets really low. The ball comes, a little pop on from Finlay Bealham.
Tadhg Beirne has the latch and just drove him over. Yeah, you can see Carl Dixon, referee, penalising Ken Owens there for not getting away. Ken Owens screaming, trapped at the bottom of the ruck. There's nothing he could do, but he's very, very tight on this. Very, very tight in the defending team, clearing away from the ruck area, and Wales have fallen foul on a couple of occasions already.
So much has already happened in this match as Johnny Sexton just goes for the conversion there. Of course he gets it. It is now Wales 0, Ireland 14. We haven't even had a chance to talk about what is going on in the Six Nations this year. In particular, we don't have the shot clock here. We should stress that, but they do want to bring it in, perhaps in the future. And the referees are being encouraged to make sure that the teams are taking their conversions, taking their kicks, their scrums, their lineouts within the allocated time periods to make the game that little bit faster. From the restart, it's O'Mahony. We were speaking on the radio last night on 5 Live. As a penalty goes the way of Ireland, this is going to get really worrying for Wales.
Yeah, discipline is poor at the moment from Wales, whether it's in Ireland's half, just giving them an easy out, or giving them another chance 5 metres out from their own line. You can't do it. You've got to be as clean as you can, especially at the start of this game. But then it probably just shows you how much pressure Wales are under at the moment.
Yeah, they're giving away a lot. Like they're going to have a purple patch. They're going to come back into the game. Like Ireland have obviously dominated for the first 10 minutes, and they've got pretty much every call, penalties, everything is going their way. And Wales, unfortunately, in that situation where they can't get the ball. Wales haven't had the ball since we've started the match, but they'll work their way into the game at some stage. But what they've got to do is find a way to slow down the Irish ball and stop giving away penalties, because Ireland have a really good attacking platform from the line out, and they've been exploiting it to the full so far.
Ireland have had 77% possession so far. 10 minutes in, Wales 0, Ireland 14 on 5 Live Sports Extra. Here's someone we haven't seen yet. Here's Josh van der Fleer. He wants to get in on the action. Is this just going to be a green day here in Cardiff? It feels it at the moment. Pressure coming down the throat of Liam Williams. He calls for the mark. He calls it in time, but he gets absolutely whacked by Hugo Keenan in the process.
Great take, because the way... for those listening, Johnny Sexton kicked the ball kind of sideways on, so the ball was moving in the air. Deliberate, difficult kick for Liam Williams to take. It wasn't a nice end over end or a spiral. It was moving in the air throughout, and a great take under huge pressure from Liam Williams.
You can see a big bit of tape on the back of Liam Williams' neck as well. It's sort of popping out the back of his shirt as the ball comes back down the field. Of course, it was a mark. It wasn't a penalty, so it was kept inside of play, and Ireland now have it on the halfway line. And I have to say, every hard yard is being absolutely worked the life out of by Ireland right now. Oh, it's miscommunication. Here's the Welsh opportunity. Rio Dyer on the hat. He's pushing it forward. It's a foot chase. He needs to go. No! Ireland get there on their own line. Oh, the drama is starting now.
I'm surprised. When you have a look back, I thought that took a knockdown from Wales on the wraparound play from Ireland, which put the ball to the deck. Certainly that's what the Irish players are trying to say.
You might look at it. Carl Dixon might look at it, but you thought Rio Dyer was away. The ball goes on the floor around the halfway line. Rio Dyer hacks it on, and he has to hack it on again. But Hugo Keenan does so well to get back. Dives
he timed it perfectly.
A split second before. I actually thought Rio Dyer should dived earlier on the ball. Yeah, it might have gone forward in the tackle.
Well, the television match official is Tom Foley. He is looking at it because at the moment Carl Dixon is not forming the scrum, although I think it is going to pack down now. Have they looked at enough?
But I think Rio Dyer had a moment there where he could have slid on the ball. Momentum would have taken him over the line, but he doesn't. It's like he's looking for it to pop up into his hand. But that's excellent defence from Hugo Keenan.
Big moment here for Wales. Whoa! They've got a scrum 5 metres out from the Irish line. They have been asleep for the last 12 minutes of this match. It's all been about Ireland, who've got 2 tries. This is their chance. It's their scrum. Ball comes in from Williams. That scrum's gone down on the near side. It's absolutely been swallowed up by Conor Murray, who's flown round the back. I think Ireland are trying to turn this over. Not on this occasion. Williams regathers. Here comes Alan Wynne-Jones. He's been quick to get back round. We've got penalty advantage coming Wales' way as well. This time it's Beard who goes forward. That's a great run by Adam Beard. He's pushing Ireland back.
This was an issue against the All Blacks here when Wales had scrums. It was just disrupted at source. So big scrum from Ireland there. It went down. Faletau had to pick the ball up, but he couldn't do anything with it. He just had to try and take contact. Then you have to start again in your attack. You have to build again. But fortunately for Wales, they've got a penalty off the back of it. And it's right in front of the post, and it is the right decision. You've got to get some points on the board.
Yeah, after the start they've had, they have to. Yeah, that was the first scrum of the match, I think, and it's an area that, you know, we've spoken a lot about Jameson Gibson Park being out, but earlier on the week, I think if that hadn't happened, we would have been talking about Tyke Furlong having to pull out at the start of the week, like a huge player for Ireland, great ball carrier and scrummager.
We haven't talked about Stuart McCloskey.
Yeah, exactly.
He threw one great pass, which he's not renowned for, but he's added that to his game. But that is why Wales picked 6 Ospreys in their pack, because their pack has been going so well. Scrum time against Montpellier, home and away, was great. Leicester was good as well, but on that scrum it looked like Ireland had the edge.
Okay, so a penalty by Dan Biggar to calm some Welsh nerves here at the Principality. It's Wales 3, Ireland 14. A chance for Wales fans just to be calm, to see Ken Owens use those leadership skills. As you said, a strong scrum. Maybe that's something that Wales be trying to see if they can get a few more of as this match continues in the Six Nations on 5 Live. Don't forget the next match here will be England against Scotland. That's coming up from Twickenham on 5 Live. Kick-off at 4:45. Chris Jones will be there. He will be joined, of course, by 2003 World Cup winner Matt Dawson and former Scotland captain John Barclay. From the restart, it's Wales who kick down. They put the high one up and Hugo Keenan said, "Thank you very much, I will take that." And Hugo Keenan is making quite the impact on this game, as Wales are accused of going over the top, using their hands, and the penalty is Ireland.
They did. It was a great take by Hugo Keenan. But as Wales try and counter ruck that, I'm not sure who. Someone falls over the top, falls straight on the floor. You've got to be able to stay on your feet. If you stay on the floor, if you go off your feet, you're going to get pinged. And Carl Dixon did that.
I think it was just Justin Tipuric said he'd gone over the ball and then using his hands. And referees are really one of the directions, I think, coming into this tournament to make sure players aren't going past the ball and holding themselves up.
Staying on your feet. You know, sometimes you get pushed over by someone behind you trying to counter-ruck, but it was just too obvious.
Does anyone feel we've got a big Irish backs move coming somewhere here off this line out? It's just inside of the Welsh 22. It comes inside. They're going to drive forward. No, it is going to be the backs. It's McCluskey who is the battering ram forward. They need it quickly. Murray manages to feed again. He finds Doris, who's looking for work in the centre of the park. Still Irish ball at the moment inside of the Welsh 22. Hugo Keenan, who's got a wonderful low body position as he goes into contact. He's causing all kinds of trouble so far for Wales. Pick and go by Doris. He's got one try. He wants another. That was fair hands over the top from Wales, but referee says no, they've knocked it on in the process.
Lucky for Ireland there, because Doris picked at the base instead of going past the ball, but he actually got isolated and the ball shot out, and Wales were poised to take it, and just when they went over to get the ball, I think Liam Williams just knocks it on at the last minute. A let off for Ireland for sure.
Yeah, but that's what I worry about with Ireland. You know, we talk about just one big carry needed to get you close to the line. Doris it's happened with, Tag Byrne it's happened with. You know, it only takes that 5 metre carry where you're not stopped in your tracks and then you're on the front foot. But the pressure's still on Wales. You know, they've still got to win this scrum. No, it's Ireland scrum, isn't it? Yeah. From the knock-on.
It's an Irish scrum. It's 10 metres out from the Welsh line. It's Wales 3, Ireland 14, 16 minutes on the clock, and the opening game of the 2023 Six Nations. The ball is in. Now that has gone down to ground. Our referee Carl Dixon says it's a penalty to Ireland. McCluskey once again, he is being asked to drive forward, and Wales have read this pretty well. They are holding it up. It does eventually go down to ground. Is Carl Dixon going to play on? No, he's not. He's going to bring it back for the original decision.
Yeah, because it was actually he said it was a maul, so that was going to be Wales scrum. So he's brought them back for a penalty actually from the scrum, a penalty from the scrum.
Okay, so decision here for Ireland. Do they build the score? They're right in the middle of the park. This is bread and butter for Johnny Sexton. Surely, yes, he does look to the posts.
For a minute there, I thought they'd go another tap and go. It's probably just a little bit too far out. What is it, 15 metres? I think if it was a penalty 5 metres out, they might have gone for another tap and go, which they got a try with the first try. But it is a sensible option, isn't it, Dennis?
Yeah, I think the momentum as well. The momentum with Ireland, I'd say the Welsh, some of the Welsh players probably relieved to see Johnny Sexton for the post. Sometimes, you know, you're just under the pump, and you know the team you're playing against, you're attacking and have the momentum. So probably a little bit relieved to see Sexton step up to take a penalty.
Does anyone other than me in the back of their mind quietly to themselves start counting to 60 when penalties are given? Because that's what I'm doing all the time at the moment. I've lost count, so I'm talking to you two now.
It only really happens when teams are trying to see out the end of a game, trying to waste a bit of time.
Well, Johnny Sexton has slotted that within 60 seconds.
Within 60 seconds, obviously, yeah. No, I think to Shank's point, I think that's really more for towards the end of the game, the time, stop out the time wasting. I think it's as long as players know that that's the rule, they're consciously just going to get on with it now.
Worrying time for Wales though at the moment. The first sort of 18 minutes has been all about Ireland. There's only 2 chances Wales have had. One was being 5 metres out when they actually got a penalty, and the other was being a drop pass and bundled into touch.
The voices of Tom Shanklin and Dennis Hickey here with us on 5 Live Sports Extra, where once again the restart takes from Ireland. I mean, they're quite impressive in how they're actually getting people back down to ground. It's a little bit tense as they put the odd person into the air, as it's a box hit coming in from Murray. Bigger takes on the halfway line, almost unopposed. Williams now has it. He looks for support this time through Jack Morgan. He works about 5 metres down the field. I thought he was going to throw it to the referee then, such was there was no red shirts around him. Still Welsh ball going forward inside of the Irish half. Spun out. Nice to see a good touch on the ball there by Hawkins as they push forward towards the far side of the field. They've got 15 metres of track left to go before they have to come back inside. Still Hawkins on the ball looking for work. Back down into the ground. Beard manages to pop off to the captain. Ken Owens, the sheriff. This time bigger, shorter pass this time to Alun Wyn Jones. They are playing so quick at the moment, Wales. They don't want to get stuck in any kind of heavy traffic. It's Dyer who goes in. Williams looking for it again. The ruck speed from Wales is impressive. Everyone is looking for an offload, very interested in getting stuck in any kind of a tussle. They know that the likes of Van der Fleer, they know the likes of O'Mahony will be in there poaching as soon as they get the opportunity. Ireland can't use that at the moment, but it's a steal on the far side by James Lowe. The foot race is on. Surely this is going to be a third try for Ireland. Oh, it looks so good for Wales, but it's a third try. It's James Lowe. He's back. He's scoring, and this scoreline is getting painful for Wales. It is Wales 3. It is Ireland 22.
That was cruel actually for Wales, because it was their first kind of concerted attack they'd put together. They were looking for that corner, and James Lowe had a decision to make. Wales had 3 attackers. He just got in between Dan Biggar's pass and I think it was Liam Williams. Four Welsh attackers, 3 outside Dan Biggar, and Lowe managed to read it well, picked it off, and 75-metre sprint, and just the first attack, a real body blow for Wales.
Yeah, the first meaningful attack, and they went through 5 or 6 phases, but ultimately ended up going nowhere, just across the pitch. No one really made any indents, and then Lowe has just gambled, and it wasn't a risky gamble really, because there was cover coming across.
Yeah.
Dan Biggar tries to throw a missed pass, and Lowe just watches it come across from his left wing, picks it off, and then there's only going to be one winner between him and Dan Biggar, because every other player is out of that game.
Yeah, all the Welsh speed merchants were involved in the attacking play and just in the wrong position. So, God, Wales are really going to have to draw on the pool of experienced players they have to get their heads right for the rest of this match.
Johnny Sexton, he's 3 from 3 with the boots so far. This one 31 metres out. Arguably the trickiest kick he's had so far of the afternoon. He takes a big deep breath. He's eyeing up the posts at the moment, looks down at the ball, little shuffle of the feet as he uses that right boot to send the ball through the Cardiff sky, and the flags fly once again. If you are Wales, just turn down the radio a second, because I'm going to give the score. It is Wales 3, Ireland 25. Okay, turn it back up again. Tom Shanklin, this is a problem.
This is a huge problem. They can't wait for half time. There's 18 minutes to go to half time. It's just a bit of damage limitation at the moment. Any points that Wales can take, they need to, and they need to get back in at half time and just reassess. And we're only saying this, and it's 22 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, day 1 of the Six Nations, 22 minutes in. What can Wales do here? They're pushing over the top. They're trying to turn over the ball against Ireland here. Referee says it's been knocked on by Ireland. Is this the Welsh opportunity?
They need to come away with something here, and it needs to be a try. At the moment, Ireland, their error count is so low. They're not giving away penalties. This is 1 or 2 turnovers they've given, but it's in a real prime position now. It's 10 metres out, just left of the post. Wales have to do something now to get themselves back into this game. Otherwise, you dare enough say it's game over.
Yeah, they have to make it count, and they have to get their heads right to be able to just kind of set the clock to 0 and go, listen, there's 60 odd minutes left here. We've got to put this terrible start behind us. We can start our attack from here. Let's get on the score. We'll get a try, get our confidence, and that's all they can be thinking. They've got to make this count.
Big moment, big scrum. It's to the left-hand side of the uprights, 10 metres out from the Ireland line. Wales ball. Williams gets the ball in. It's at the feet, it's at the back. They're pushing towards the right. Ball goes away to Hawkins. Hawkins through the middle. He's dragged down by McCluskey, but there's still only a metre left to go for Wales. This is the chance. Biggar wants to go on his own. He doesn't give the pass. Surely he would have been in there. It was still a one-on-one out on the far side, but Wales are holding on. The penalty's Ireland holding on the floor. Dan Biggar makes the error, and Ireland survive.
He just stumbles. He doesn't take the ball cleanly. He stumbles. It's on. It's nearly a guaranteed try. All he needs is to slow his feet down, but he ends up tripping over himself. Ireland are able to recover. It's a beautiful tackle on him by one of the Irish players.
I think it was low, yeah.
But that was a wasted opportunity. That was a clear wasted opportunity. Really good off the scrum as well. Joe Hawkins takes it flat, gets himself about a metre out, and then they're playing with quick ball round the corner, round the right-hand side, and Dan Biggar falls over himself, really. He gets the ball.
It's McCluskey. McCluskey made a read. He actually stepped in and then he realised he was in the wrong place. Managed to get back out and just hold Dan Biggar. And it was a 2-on-2 with 25 metres to play, and it was an opportunity missed for sure.
And the Ireland coaching staff, they celebrated that moment as much as they did the 3 tries that Ireland have already scored. Of course, if they get a 4th, they're guaranteed already a try bonus. As Conor Murray comes in, puts the high one up into the air. The foot chase is on. Lowe is looking for it. A little bit of a block comes in from Tipuric, but offside is the decision. Warning there against Taulupe Faletau, and nothing is going Wales' way right now. Let's just forget about Wales. Yes, this is not going well. Let's talk about Ireland. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's been very impressive because it's been so seamless. I suppose the way Ireland are going to play, what they're going to try and do, and Wales will have thought about nothing else except how to stop this game plan. But they've seemed powerless. And there's 2 things. First of all, the effectiveness of the Irish ball carriers. The 3 or 4 big ball carriers they have, Sheehan, Tadhg Beirne, Caelan Doris in particular, are getting over the game line every single time. The second thing is discipline. Wales' discipline has been really, really poor, and they just can't afford it, because any time they're having any sort of impact on Ireland defensively, they're giving away penalties, and Ireland getting a chance to start again.
2 massive key tackles as well. Hugo Keenan was able to get back from the ball that Rio Dye kicked ahead. Then you had Stuart McCluskey just making a try-saving tackle on Dan Biggar. 2 clear opportunities that Wales could have scored. It's just been wiped out by awesome defence.
Sheehan of Leinster gets the ball in, winning his 14th cap today. As the ball comes away, it's Ringrose who crashes forward. Ireland going forward inside of Wales territory. They're just outside of the 22. Porter once again, the Leinster man. He scored 4 tries in his career. Maybe he could go in for a 5th at the moment, because you do feel even a prop's tail will be up right now across the whole of the Irish squad. As there's a penalty again. Now, I have to say, Ken Owens has been right in the middle of about 3 penalties now, and he's going to have to be careful.
Yeah, it's actually not. We were looking at this thinking he'd been hard done by, because Ken Owens looked like he was on his feet, and then the ref blew for the penalty. But actually, he penalised number 5, I think it was. I think it was Alan Wynne Jones, what he said, from coming in from the side. So I thought Ken Owens had actually put himself in a position to get a penalty for Wales.
Yeah, well, Carl Dixon was shouting no hands. I thought it was Ken Owens because he didn't let go. But whether you're coming inside, but again, it just shows you how much pressure Wales are under, because you only start giving penalties away when you're under copious amounts of pressure, which they are.
And I tell you what, Ireland would be perfectly within their rights right now to kick for a corner and go for a try, but such is their pragmatism, and they're not taking this lead in any kind of way for granted. They've decided to go for the post, so it's about 2 metres outside of the 22. It's dead in the middle of the park. Sexton lining up his 5th kick of the afternoon. He's been immaculate so far. You wouldn't expect him to miss from here, and this would make the cushion even more comfortable than it is for Irish rugby fans. Sexton, let us not forget, 37 years old, happily continuing to drive Ireland. Holway, ideally they would like to the World Cup, as he gets that one as well. 5 from 5 with the boot. It is now Wales 3, Ireland 27.
Is it fair, Dennis, to call Johnny Sexton the Tom Brady of Ireland?
I think it's very fair.
Yeah. He
is the Tom Brady of Ireland. He's the Tom Brady of rugby at the moment, and unsurprisingly a big fan of Tom Brady. So
of course, Tom Brady announced once again this week that he's definitely retiring.
Will he though? Will he though?
Well, I did appreciate that he said he wasn't going to do any more fanfare than just put the message on social, because he said, I did kind of do that last time, so this time it's all over. Right then, we're focusing on Six Nations though, less American football. It is Wales 3, Ireland 27. 3 tries that Ireland have scored. Still 12 minutes to go to the break, and Wales have the ball on the halfway line. Ken Owens, the Wales captain, he takes it into battle as Biggar goes to the dig over the top. Oh, it's lovely to Joe Hawkins. That's really nice. He can't get the pass away though to Morgan. It wasn't quite quick enough. There was a green shirt there instead, and they push it out to the far side. It's in the hands of Ringrose for Ireland. They're inside of their own half though, and they're so hungry for work. Here's Beirne. He was a little bit isolated, but all of a sudden his teammates arrived to bail him out. Still Irish ball. They are 10 metres away from the halfway. Conor Murray is being absolutely shoved backwards by someone's bottom as he falls back down to the floor and has to let someone else do the scrum half duties. Big high ball goes up from Sexton, waiting underneath it. Beanie Williams, oh, that was almost a very uncomfortable meeting in the air. It falls down to the earth, and it's going to cuff up on the green side. Here come Ireland once again, this time inside of the Welsh half. McCluskey with the footwork still going. He's travelled about 15 metres. Murray is with him. They're trying to keep this ball alive. Then they slow it down. Bealham now. Little kick over the top by Sexton. It's loose. Williams is going to be gathered by James Lowe. So much of me talking, I can only apologise because this ball is being kept alive by both sides. There is no slow rucks in this. The ruck speed must be incredible. It's a penalty though for Wales. The cheer goes up from the Principality.
An ironic cheer.
They got themselves out of trouble there, and it all came from a chip over the top from Dan Biggar.
Let's listen into the ref. 1 second. Let's listen into the ref.
Peter O'Mahony.
He's still waiting to talk to them, Carl Dixon. We're listening in now. Okay, he's going to say nothing interesting. It was a shame because I thought he was.
Well, Peter O'Mahony wasn't far away from that at all, but initially a really good chip over the top from Dan Biggar. That's one way to stop a blitz defence, is by putting the ball in. Joe Hawkins takes it, and as he tries to offload, it's great cover back from Ireland. Ireland turn the ball over, then Wales are in disarray. And then it's just Ireland attack. Stuart McCluskey looked really class, ball in hand. He's had a very good start, mixing his game up. People sometimes look at him and think, well, you're just a carrier, but there's so much more to his game than that.
When you've been watching Ireland in recent years, a lot of the names that come up a lot are the likes of O'Mahony, Van der Fleer and Doris. We've been speaking less about them in this fixture because it's all been about the forward attack. Ireland haven't had to do a huge amount of defending so far in this fixture, and that's where those names tend to be more frequently mentioned in their prowess. As it's now Wales who come in with a box kick. They're inside of their own half between the 10 and the 22. It's going to come down near the halfway line, and it's gathered by Sexton. He takes it on. That's his first sort of contact run we've seen Sexton. He doesn't always like heading into that kind of trouble, but knows when he has to take it on. Murray pushes towards the far side. This time it's McCluskey, who I have to say has been a happy battering ram out there. A lot of people thought maybe it was going to be Bundy Aki playing that role today for Wales. He is on the bench and available when required. Sexton, crossfield kick, going to come down on this near side. It will be a mark if Wales can get there, and it has been called eventually by Liam Williams. He has to call it virtually on the floor as he's wrapped up by green shirts.
A little bit too far, just a little bit too much on the kick, only by probably half a metre. Just allowed Liam Williams to take it cleanly. Good option from Ireland. There wasn't much space out there. Sexton put a really good high kick up, but just allowed Liam to take it cleanly.
Well, we've still got 9 minutes to play here at the Principality. 8 now because it's Wales 3, Ireland 27. Ball is on the halfway line. Irish ball at the moment. Penalty to Ireland on the halfway as well.
Number 4.
Same again, hands on the floor against Adam Beard, I think it is there, and that's the second penalty Wales have given away for the same thing, just kind of going through the rucks, but on your hands and hands as well as feet.
Hopefully I've done my math right, but at the moment it's about 8 penalties to 1. I think Ireland only given away 1 penalty so far. To Wales is 8, and you know the ideal amount you give away, because you are going to give penalties away, is under 10. Anything under 10 is golden. But at the moment, 8 for Wales in this first half, and nearly all of them have been on the defence.
And you have to be worried that surely there must be a card coming at some point, because a lot of men have been for the same thing as well.
I'll keep my hands.
And this is a line out now for Ireland, 10 metres away from the Welsh line. Johnny Sexton, I cannot stress to you enough how calm he looks out there. This is a man who hasn't played rugby since New Year's Day because he had his face smashed in. He's had surgery and he's just back like a spring chicken that he always is. As the ball comes in from Ireland, they are mauling away down this near side touch. Murray is waiting for the moment to release the backs. Here he comes round the corner. He's going on his own on this occasion. It's Ken Owens who brings him down. This time it's gathered by Sheehan. He works around the corner. This Welsh defence just really isn't firing. It's still going towards the line. Ireland think they maybe nearly made it. They're going to recycle again. Mac Hansen on this occasion. He runs straight into two huge Welsh men. He's dispatched to the turf and comes back towards the left-hand side. Doris, he is well marked. It's been knocked on by Ireland. Wales survive on this occasion, but just we get to see a Wales scrum.
That's an unfortunate error there. I think it was Dan Sheehan who took the initial carry. He's a fantastic carry.
How good was that carry, Dennis? From Dan Sheehan. How good was that carry?
You know, he came into the Irish team last year on the back of Ronan Kelleher being injured, and had a fantastic summer tour to New Zealand. There's a huge unit. He's 6'4", as a hooker, and he can sprint and has the footwork of a back. And he's so hard to carry to bring down. He just came up short there, and just then on a second carry, and it just knocked it on at the end there. But Wales can breathe a sigh of relief, and you can see they're gathering every single any little small win they can. They're trying to motivate each other, trying to pump each other up to try and get their heads back in the game and start winning some of these small battles.
It's brilliant option taking, because there's a line-out drive then, and Conor Murray comes off the line-out drive. He's got 3 or 4 options, but he takes the right option, which is to carry the ball himself, because everyone else is covered, which gives him an extra metre over that gain line. Then Dan Sheehan, with a little bit of fancy footwork, manages to break a tackle, and then all of a sudden, again, we've said it a lot this half, Wales are just backpedaling constantly. They need to start winning the collisions.
Okay, a few things are going on right now on the field. You're not missing any rugby. Matt Canson is receiving a little bit of treatment on this near side to his knee. I should say that our referee Carl Dixon did just have a word with Ken Owens about tackle height for Wales. Now, that was from when, I can't remember which Irish player ran into both Ken Owens and Alan Wynne-Jones at the same time. He said it was fine, but just to warn them to be careful.
Matt Canson, yeah.
So that is a little bit of a concern. It is still going to be a Welsh scrum, but they have had the warning come in from Carl Dixon. So Thomas Williams comes in, the Cardiff man, the one club Cardiff man. He normally plays his rugby about 100 metres over off to the right, left. Which direction? I get so discombobulated when I'm in this stadium.
Yeah, it's like a maze, isn't it?
It really is.
You can get yourself lost in here for days.
Okay, lovely. Well, it's in the Arms Park, which is outside one direction of the stadium. When we come in round the bottom of the stadium, and you can walk the whole way around the track underneath. As the first scrum goes straight down to ground. A reminder of the front rows: Gareth Thomas, Ken Owens and Thomas Francis for Wales, going up against Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan and Finlay Bealham. This is Finlay Bealham's first Six Nations start. Of course, no Tadhg Furlong here. And when you think that 2 of the biggest names in Irish rugby, in Tadhg Furlong and Jamison Gibson-Park, aren't even playing here for Ireland today, they're also missing Robbie Henshaw. He's been out for a long time now with a wrist injury. Doing all right, aren't they?
We were rubbing our hands together, when the Welsh people were, when we saw Jamison Gibson-Park wasn't playing, obviously Tadhg Furlong in the week. Wow, look at that, 27-3. We're not rubbing hands anymore.
Certainly not.
Scratching
35
heads.
minutes on the clock. That one's collapsed again. It's a Wales penalty. On the far side of the scrums, Andrew Porter, who is looking up and giving very steely eyes to our referee Carl Dixon. He is not happy with that decision. He's still waiting to talk to Carl Dixon as he sort of slowly walks backwards, having to sort of swallow that decision as Wales kick down this near side for a line out.
Get out of jail.
It's a penalty, but it's not an attacking penalty. It's, look, you can relieve pressure from it. Wales need penalties. Wales need Ireland for poor discipline around the halfway line, so we can get a bit of possession and territory inside Ireland's half.
He's done him for putting his hand on the ground, and he can protest all he wants. We've just seen the video quite clearly. His hand goes on the deck to hold himself up, and that's why he got penalised.
It's interesting there. Ken Owens actually took a step to the right there as he took his line out throw. Everyone's happy though. Ball is inside of Ireland's half. Bigger, that huge boot of his is going towards the Ireland half of the field. Underneath it, none other than Mr. Hugo Keenan, but he's quickly tracked down there by Josh Adams. Penalty for Wales.
This is what we're after.
Holding on the floor, and this is a chance for them to build a platform. They have not had one of these in a while.
I can say we because there's Dennis here as well covering Ireland, so I can fight Wales's corner, but this is an issue that hasn't happened for Ireland, a good issue for Ireland. You know, their discipline around the halfway line has been so good this first half, which hasn't allowed Wales to get close into Ireland's half. Now Dan Biggar's able to kick that ball 10 metres out, which gives them a line out, which gives them possession and territory.
Great job there by both Liam Williams and George North getting over Hugo Keenan, and the Irish clear out not there fast enough. Fantastic attacking opportunity for Wales just as we approach half time to get something on the board. I know it'll be 27 points still to Ireland, but anything will give Wales a big lift running down the tunnel to the changing rooms if they can score here.
The Principality roars. It's the line out for Wales. It's still going forward, tracking ahead. This time George North goes on. Ken Owens, the captain, he's stopped short. They work round the corner. It's over. Is it over? Referee says no. Held up over the line. The chance for Wales is gone. Of course, if you're held up, it's a goal line dropout. The rules have changed, and all of that effort gone.
I think it's Bealham and Porter, both of them managed to get deliberately. Porter threw himself almost on his back to get under under the
We're going to the television
attempted try
match
scoring.
official.
I think he's been held up.
It was an excellent pickup from Jack Morgan. Took it at pace after a really good carry from Joe Hawkins. But if Ireland have got underneath this is another try-saving tackle. That's 3 I've counted in this first half.
When I got round, it was held, but from the information I had it was quite tight.
Okay, so there you go. It was a tight decision. Has Jack Morgan done it? I mean, so much hard work there.
Andrew Porter.
Yeah, Andrew Porter's done unbelievable because Morgan actually pulls the ball back because he knows he hasn't gone up. He knows he hasn't got over the line.
Okay, no
Go
try.
out, drop out. Oh, that's a blow.
Take a bow, Andrew Porter. Take a bow.
A fantastic bit of defence from your loose head prop.
Time back on, please.
We were talking before the match actually kicked off a little bit, Dennis Hickey, because Tag Furlong is here and you watch him do an out the door pass and you said rugby's changed.
I just, when you see the skill sets of some of these forwards, he was in his tracksuit and he was doing an out the door reverse spin pass 35 metres to some of the other side of the pitch.
If we did that in our day, I think we were magicians, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. He just casually threw it 35 metres out the back.
Loose ball for Wales. He's gone forward on the floor. We'll restart then with an Irish scrum. 38 minutes on the clock. Wales 3, Ireland 27.
That's a poor pass from Justin Tipuric. He's just trying to tip the ball on, just trying to change the point of contact. Comes off Thomas Williams. It's a no-look pass. Normally he's so skillful, but it goes too far behind Toby Faletau to collect it.
Let's go.
Doesn't really stand a chance there. Needs that ball right in his midriff if he's going to cash out and take it into contact.
Right on the gain line as well. He was going to take a big hit at the time, so those little bit of inaccuracies creeping in there for Wales.
Someone we haven't really mentioned throughout this fixture so far is, of course, the returning Wales head coach Warren Gatland. A little statistic that did the rounds this week is Gatland has been involved in 66 Nations games. That's 50 for Wales and 10 for Ireland. That's the same tally as all other 5 head coaches combined. Such as his experience in this tournament, but I think this might be his toughest experience of all of his times in the tournament. As the ball comes away for Ireland, they hack down the field. Josh Adams sends it back, and calmly waiting on the far side is Sexton. Sexton then, he does a little show and go. He'll be happy with that because Liam Williams went for it. Ball is put up by Sexton, comes down the side of the Wales half. It's Adams once again who gathers. Pushed on the ball between the 10 and the 22 inside of Wales territory. They're trying to work their way out. They've won that aerial battle, but they haven't got a huge amount of territory out of it. Thomas Williams puts it back for Biggar. High ball from him. He's expecting Dyer, I think, to chase this, but Hansen is there as well. It's a little bit like a circus. About 7 people touched that ball before it finally came down on the Irish side. Byrne back inside of Irish territory. He's refusing to be tackled down to the earth because he's got the big mitts of Alan Wynne-Jones all over him, and Wynne-Jones is now just trying to shuffle himself out of the ruck area. Someone's lost a scrum cap on the floor on the way through that ruck as well. Box kick from Murray, taken this time by Biggar, and pop back ball, this time running forward through the hands of George North, who we haven't seen a huge amount of. Still plenty of discussion I saw in the Wales press this week about if George North is a wing, if he's a centre. I mean, I think that one's long past. He's been in that centre shirt now for quite a while for Wales as it's pushed towards that far side. It's Adams again. Now that was a big tackle going in on Adams. The crowd didn't like it. Was he put down safely? Referee seems happy. This is better from Wales. They're going in the right direction. Alan Wynne-Jones. Now the clock is gone. If Wales want to get something out of this attack, they're going to have to do it quickly. They're going to have to do it cleanly. Now, Ireland thought that was out. Referee says no. They're playing advantage. Was it penalty advantage? I can only assume it is.
Yeah, it was penalty advantage.
You must be on your feet to make a tackle.
The issue was the Ireland player was on the floor when he tried to tackle Josh Adams, who was sort of looking for space, running in, running out. They've got a penalty now, which means the clock is red, but they can still play on from this line out.
One last attack from Wales. You could just, that was the Andrew Porter tackle that you thought he might have another look, and the reason it looked so spectacular is because he was on the ground when he tackled him, which is why he got penalised.
Well, they've just replayed the Andrew Porter tackle again. It didn't look the cleanest way that he put the player down on the floor.
It was like he was sat in a school assembly, wasn't it, with his legs crossed. He just reached up.
And it's too far back now that Carl Dixon won't go and look at it as the ball goes over the top. Ireland want to play. They haven't even kicked it off the park. The mistake from Wales. Somehow Liam Williams has got back and got on that ball. This is really tough for Wales. Ideally, they'd like to get this off probably and get in the changing room, but they need points and they need them fast, so they need to take this attack. Here comes the ball once again. Beard, nobody wants it. There is no structure to this Wales attack at all. Nobody knows what they're doing. This is painful at times to watch. They need leadership. They need direction. Here comes Biggar. High ball into the air. Someone has got to get their hands on it. It's Biggar himself chasing. He's going to do it all on his own. He passes out to the far side. It's Jack Morgan now going forward. He hacks it on. Oh my goodness, it's still floating in the middle of the park. It's gathered by McCluskey. He kicks it out.
That was costly. That kick, that take over the back, all the way back to that overthrow from Wales where Sheehan got it. All he had to do was kick it off the pitch. He kicked it into the field, and Ireland had to really hang on there, not to concede a try there at the death. And in that passage of play, it looks like Dan Biggers picked up a knock just at half time. Not really what Wales wanted. Also, Warren Gatland, it might be his 60th Six Nations game. He's going to have the speech of his life of all those 60 caps to be able to bring this Welsh team back from this first half.
The voice of Dennis Hickey here with us on 5 Live Sports Extra. What a half of rugby. What a moment for both sides. Ireland laying down a marker. Wales nothing but head scratching. The half-time score here at the Principality Stadium is Wales 3, Ireland 27. We're going to head to Twickenham shortly, but just a quick moment there. Tom Shanklin, how concerned are you on the disaster scale of where we are after 40 minutes of Six Nations rugby?
It's very, very worrying. Ireland seem to be dominating the collisions. They're playing the tempo they want to play. Wales' discipline is coming under question a lot, and that's allowing Ireland to get into Wales' half. There have been opportunities for Wales, but there's been 3 or 4 that they haven't been able to capitalise either from a bit of some crazy Ireland defence, some last-ditch tackles, or poor kicks, or just falling over, which Dan Biggar had. But yeah, look, it's a very worrying time at the moment for Wales.
And Dennis Hickey, how delighted are you that ultimately Ireland, they're backing up the #1 title. It doesn't seem to have affected them at all, the changes that have happened.
No, not at all. And that was I suppose my concerns just coming into kick-off was what impact would the late withdrawal of Gibson Park have. And Conor Murray's had a fine game, and Ireland have been able to keep the tempo up, so that bit's been answered fairly and squarely. My other concern, I suppose, was Tadhg Furlong, who pulled out at the start of the week. Finlay Bealham coming in, at tight heads, such a pivotal role, particularly, Wales, if they were going to get nothing else right in the short preparation time that Warren Gatland had, I thought really they would be going after the Ireland scrum a bit more, and the Ireland scrum so far has been very solid. I think Wales have given away more penalties in the scrum than Ireland have, so they were the 2 immediate areas I was concerned about, but it's been for nothing, because Ireland have been excellent, and we're going to straying into the realms of catastrophizing a little bit about Wales, and because they've come into this game on such a bad run. But you actually also have to hold your hat up, take your hat off. I mean, to the level of performance that Ireland have put in. They've carried a huge weight of expectation. Were they going to be able to continue the types of performance, the clinical performances that they put in November and the summer? And the answer so far has been yes.
Dennis Hickey, Tom Shanklin, thank you so much for 40 minutes. We've still got 40 to go. I hope Tom Shanklin doesn't need more therapy. I think I had a memory of doing this time last year when we were in Dublin.
Or a couch. Yeah. I need a couch, that's what I need.
Right then, he's going to go and lie down. We're going to have a break. The half-time score here is Wales 3, it's Ireland 27, but there's another match coming today. It's a biggie, it's at Twickenham, it's England against Scotland, all the build-up. Let's head over there right now and speak to Chris Jones.
Thanks very much, Sarah. Wow. What a first half in Cardiff for Ireland. Thanks a lot to Sarah, Tom and Dennis for the great coverage. Back in around about 10 minutes time at the Principality. But yet, welcome to Twickenham. Very much a calm before the storm kind of vista here. Still an hour and 40 until kick-off. Marcus Smith first out for England. White headphones on, just visualising a few kicks. And Joe Marchant, his Harlequins teammate, is also on the pitch, which looks in fantastic condition. The Calcutta Cup with us at 4:45 kick-off on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tom English of BBC Scotland fame, of the Rugby Union Daily, Nations Pod fame.
Infamy.
of notoriety. Tom's with us. And Tom, before we talk about Twickenham and all of the different themes we can discuss ahead of the Calcutta Cup, what about Ireland and Cardiff? On the Nations Pod, we kind of drew out 2 potential scenarios. One, Wales backs the wall, the Principality believing, Gatland back on his shield, Biggar to the fore, Wales gutsing it out, Ireland mentally, the demons of 2018-19 resurfacing, or Ireland were just going to batter them, and that's been the latter.
It has, yeah. It's been absolute dominance, and Ireland have picked up where they left off in the autumn. Total dominance, physicality through the roof, accuracy, lethal in terms of executing their try-scoring opportunities. And it's kind of men against boys, and it just kind of shows. I think everyone got a little bit carried away at the return of the Messiah, Gatland. I was talking on the podcast whether he could go back to the well again. I didn't think he could.
We all doubted.
Yeah, I think a lot of people doubted because he's got this. You know, he's put the band back together today, and the band have been absolutely beaten out the gate.
Yeah, and it's early days to write off Wales, and if anyone you don't write off, it's Warren Gatland, but. That kind of scoreline is the disaster stuff for Wales. You said it was men against boys. It is kind of men against boys, but it's men against very old men as well. You know, it's hard to call Alan Wynne-Jones, Ken Owens, and those kind of that stature of player a boy. But you're quite right in terms of speed of ball and conditioning. You look at a Caelan Doris as an athlete, and he's out there on his own a little bit. No way back for Wales.
I can't see it. I mean, you know, we haven't seen a kind of a much of a weakness in this Ireland team for quite a long time now. And they would have to have an absolute collapse for Wales to get back into this game. Never say never, but I think it would be the shock to end all shocks if Wales were to come back and even make a game of this, because it's all Ireland. I mean, it's actually, it surprises me. I thought Ireland would win. I thought Ireland would win well. I was conscious that Ireland's record in Cardiff has been terrible. I think Ireland were very conscious of that too. That's why you're seeing this incredibly focused, furious performance.
And that's why they stormed out the gates.
Yeah.
You can imagine the Farrell was going, you know, if there are some mental demons from 2018 when they started poorly against England in 19, the wheels fell off through that year, they wanted to come out and blow Wales away, and that's exactly what they did. And it looked like the kind of start they'd been prepping for weeks.
And silence the crowd. You know, sort out the whole. Don't let the whole Gatland revival take hold at the Principality. So that incredible noise that stadium can generate, I'd say it must be fairly quiet for large parts of that first half. So Ireland have done a phenomenal job. Everyone in Ireland's going, are we going to see a little chink like they saw in 2019 World Cup year? Ireland's game tends to go south. When the World Cup is on, there's no sign of weakness so far.
Yeah, Wales 3, Ireland 27, the half-time score in Cardiff. Back with Sarah and the team for all the commentary from the Principality Stadium. But it's a big one here at Twickenham. And a theme of one of your excellent online pieces this week, Tom, was how Scotland have turned the Calcutta Cup from what was maybe 10 years ago. We were trying to talk it up, but really it was way down there compared to an England-France or Wales-Ireland. An England-Wales game. It's now one of the big games in town. One of the big fixtures in the rugby calendar back again, and it's all down to Scotland's recent record.
It is. It's down to Gregor Townsend. You know, it was before he turned up. England had won the previous 9 Calcutta Cups and the championship. I think since 1990 or 91, Scotland have won 6 Calcutta Cups. Townsend team accounts for 3 of the 6. So it was a rivalry only in name. Obviously Calcutta Cup, the history of it, but it's not a rivalry if one team is winning all of the time. It just ceases to become a rivalry. Townsend has come in and he's changed it. Won 3, drew 1 of the last 5. Best coaching record against England of any of the 6 or the 5 nations. Extraordinary, really. They are England's bogey team, and it's down to Townsend.
But I think that penny, if it hadn't dropped previously for England, it's definitely dropped now. You hear England players say in interviews they talk up Scotland, and I don't think that's a kind of Eddie Jones mind game when he would talk up Scotland to kind of lull them into a false sense of security. I think under Borthwick and Sinfield, they've spelled it out quite clearly. This lot have beaten you way more often than you've beaten them. You've won 1 out of 5, and that was a tight dogfight in a Murrayfield Storm in 2020. Yeah. So these guys have got your number. Any suggestion this isn't a huge game thrown out the window, and does that in turn, with your Scotland hat on, because sometimes you've got an Irish hat on, sometimes you've got a Scotland hat on.
Always an Irish hat on.
Always an Irish hat on. And at work, a Scotland hat. Does that concern the Scots a bit, that there is going to be absolutely no suggestion England will take Scotland lightly, which they may have done 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it probably will. I don't think England have taken Scotland lightly. I don't think they have. Some of these games will be very tight games, you know. And even last year in Murrayfield, I watched it again during the week. Scotland scored a great try with Ben White early on, but England pretty much dominated the rest of the game until about the 65th minute mark, when Finn Russell started to kick kicks from the gods, and Cowan-Dickey got under one and got sin-binned, and Scotland scored a try. I got a penalty try. It was really all England. Scotland spent 54 seconds in England's 22. England spent 2.5 minutes.
And scored 20 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just incredible. It was a kind of a smash and grab. And so England probably walked off the field that day thinking, we were probably the better team now, and we've lost. They were 31-0 up here a few years ago and didn't win. So Scotland have done a number on them in so many ways. I think England will be on it today, and Scotland will know that they're coming for them.
The players are out just going through their very casual warm-ups, just visualising, imagining. I can see Owen Farrell there, I can see Ollie Chesham, Freddie Stewart, Marcus Smith, and the Scotland players are starting to drip out of the Twickenham tunnel as well. The giant figure of Duhan van der Merwe just underneath us, a man who'll be part of this Scotland back line with Finn Russell and Tuipulotu, Hugh Jones, the aforementioned Van der Merwe, Stuart Hogg. They can cause some damage if the ball is right. We indulge in some gallows humour on the way up here, Tom, because we've not mentioned 1983 all week. First of all, that must be very, very lovely for a Scotland supporter. None of this, when's it going to be? 30, I mean, it's been 40 years now, goodness me, since 83. We've had none of that. We've had no trips to see the 83 team. We've not had any kind of document, because Scotland won here 2 years ago. But it was also quite ironic that there were probably about 3 Scots here to see it.
I know, it's just the way of the world, isn't it? The great hoodoo is ended, and there's no one here from Scotland to see it.
The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away.
So many pals up the road who've coming down here year after year after year since 83.
Thousands of pounds poorer.
Thousands of pounds, aged visibly by the experiences they've had down here, and then the one time they win, they're sitting at home in their living rooms. I mean, you couldn't. It's bonkers. But it was an incredible victory that day. But Townsend, if you listen to him all week, but he's talking about, the ghosts of 83 have been exorcised and all the rest of it. He says, yeah, but there was no fans. He keeps making that point. There was no fans. Not to downplay it, but it was a bit of reality.
It was the time to do it, wasn't it?
It was a time to do it, and this Scotland team is dangerous. It's a dangerous Scotland team. What Townsend has done is he's won a lot of big victories, but he hasn't won consistently, and that is the big problem. He has moved Scotland forward, but not forward enough. So it wouldn't surprise me if Scotland were to win today and somehow lose to Wales next week, because that's exactly what happened last year. He'd have beat England at Twickenham at Murrayfield, went down to Wales, who'd just been hammered. History's repeating itself here.
It's just
hammered by Wales,
changing of home and away,
changing venues, and Wales kind of out-passioned them. I think, and like Steve Borthwick is such a realist. He's got his feet on the ground here. He knows what the Scotland team are capable of.
Well, will history repeat itself here at Twickenham? Will history be repeating itself in Cardiff last year? Heavy Ireland win. They are motoring towards doing the same anytime a Wales turnaround. Sarah and the team will take you through it if so.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you to Tom English as well. Do go to the BBC Sport website for every twist and turn in this Six Nations. Chris Jones writes on there, Tom English writes on there. It's pretty good. Hopefully they didn't hear me say that, so they don't want their heads to get too big. But we are coming to you live from the Principality Stadium. It is round 1 of the Six Nations. This is game 1, and it is all about the number 1 side in the world. It's about Ireland. They are leading at half-time. Wales 3, Ireland 27. They've scored 3 tries. Add to that a few penalty kicks from Sexton. That's how you get to that number. Of course, they'll be hunting down that bonus point next. And we were just wondering what the sort of mother of all team talks that Warren Gatland will be giving right now. Because Tom Shanklin, that for me is a scoreline you can't come back from.
I don't think it is, Sarah. You're right. I think Warren Gatland will be talking about the physicality, having that edge against Ireland. At the moment, you look at Ireland's carries. They've had 43 positive gain line carries. Wales have only had 19, and yes, that doesn't reflect a little bit about the possession they've had. But at the moment, it seems every time Ireland get the ball, they're able to get on the front foot, they're able to burst tackles, they're able to pump their legs, and it's just that 1-2 metre difference, Dennis, which allows them to get on that front foot and play with quick ball.
Yeah, we were saying just off mic there at half time, you know, the teams that Ireland really struggle with are the really big physical teams, because they don't win those collisions as much. They're under more pressure in the scrum and in and around the fringes of ruck time, and Wales unfortunately don't have the same ballast as some of South Africa or France or England. So, you know, they're soaking a lot of tackles. Ireland are getting that soft shoulder, getting those extra yards, making those positive carries, as you said, and that's been the difference.
There's a clear difference at the moment between someone like Doris's carries to Faletau's carries. You know, the way Doris is carrying into contact, he's winning nearly every collision. You know, you flip side Toby Faletau, and every time he's taken into contact, he's getting nailed straight away.
There is one change for Wales as they come out of the tunnel. Thomas Francis is off the field of play and Dylan Lewis is on. I haven't spotted any changes for Ireland just yet, but if I do, you will be the first to know. We're back underway in the second half. Wales against Ireland in the Six Nations. The half-time score was Wales 3, Ireland 27. Wales kicking off from left to right in this second half, wearing their red shirts and white shorts. It's Ireland who've gathered between their own 10 and 22. Of course they're wearing green shirts. Of course they've got white shorts on, and they're playing from right to left. Right then, Andrew Porter on the ball. He had a pretty strong first half. He got pinged once by the referee for putting his hand down in a scrum, but he also managed to put in a try-saving hold over the line to stop Wales going over for a try. As the ball goes into the air, it's gathered by Liam Williams, who is, of course, wearing 15 for Wales today. It was meant to be halfpenny. He had to pull out earlier in the week as he has a back spasm. Right, ball down on the ground. It's been gathered by Wales. This could all be about damage limitation and just how much that can be, or if Ireland are really going to put their foot to the throttle. I had a little feeling as Ireland came out down the tunnel, they almost came out in a line formation. Nobody was out of step. Felt a little bit like the Borg from Star Trek. Is that fair?
I'm more Star Wars than Star Trek.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm probably the same. I have to say that they've, you know, trying to think about what Warren Gatland could be saying, because you need to be able to mix as a coach.
No.
You know, you can. It wouldn't take much of a coach to go in and start screaming and start saying, "Where's your pride?" and you got to play for your country.
You're not missing any rugby at the moment. They're box kicking to each other.
You've got to be able to. You've got to be able to point out areas of improvement, tactical areas where they've got to improve their performance, to give a bit of focus of what they're trying to do. And they're already, Wales are carrying harder, and they certainly, you know, trying to get over that gain line. And you would imagine he'll have really set down just 2 or 3 really basics that Wales have to improve on this half, and then marry that with some passion.
And Wales have got an advantage here as it's coming away down this near side by Josh Adams. Oh, it's been stolen again by Keenan. Oh, that would have been beautiful, but a couple of things have happened here. There's a penalty and there's an injury down in the middle of the field at the moment. I'm just trying to figure out who is it. It's either Biggar or it is Joe Hawkins.
This Biggar's down. You can see Joe Hawkins moving around, but it was a really good pass from Biggar over the top, which hits Josh Adams. I think Biggar got taken late then.
Well, they're just looking at it.
No, it looks fine. It looks fine. It's
just a big hit.
It's just a big hit. It's committed. It's not committed. It's not too late. No, that's fine from Gary Ringrose. Just jams in. But what a little take from in the air, because Josh Adams goes down the right-hand side. He chips the ball over Hugo Keenan. If that goes over him, the chances are it's going to land in his hands and he might have scored. But Hugo Keenan plucks it from the air
and had a free run into the line.
Yeah.
I have to say, we have seen Dan Biggar hit so many times, go down to the ground, you feel the worst, and within about 2 minutes he's back on his feet, he's okay.
And, you know, he's such a class act, Biggar. You know, stands up, dusts himself off, looks over the other side, gives Gary Ringrose a thumbs up, like good hit, and back into the game. He's a real warrior. There's a fantastic article I think Sam Warburton wrote last week about, you know, the era of the warrior out half between Farrell, Sexton and Biggar, guys who really put themselves ahead as 10s, and they've all played at the same time. Their careers are coming towards their end of the careers, but they've been incredible servants, and no more than Dan Biggar for Wales.
Wales line out far side of the field, just outside of the Irish 22. Here they come on attack. George North goes through the middle. It's read well by Sexton. He's got support from McCluskey, but they've made ground here, Wales. They recycle and go once again. Faletau, he's on the floor. Wales attacking inside of the Irish 22. They're in the middle of the field at the moment. This time Gareth Thomas goes forward, not quite over the gain line, but holds the ball. Faletau made himself available, but it's Ken Owens who works round the corner. Williams, was he just caught there? He tries to snipe round Andrew Porter. Porter says no, and it's penalty advantage to Wales here. They will come back. Offside from Ireland. This is right in front of the post. Now, it's Wales 3, Ireland 27. I don't think penalties will count for much right now.
It's what they feel most confident with, whether they want a centre field scrum, whether they can tack either side, or they go for probably the more pragmatic option of trying to get it 5 metres out with a line-out drive.
That's exactly what they've decided to do. So Biggar, he's going to slot this one down into the corner. It's going to be a 5-metre line-up. Here come Ireland. They are absolutely geeing each other up for a big defensive shift.
Big thing Wales had to do is come out this second half and score first. If they don't score first and Ireland do, then they've got no chance in coming back. At the moment, there's a glimpse they can, but it's opportunities like this they need to take.
Ken Owens steps up. Wales 5 metres away from that Irish line. Ball over his head. He waits more to arrive. Adam Beard looked like he was going to say, oh, it was brilliant. It was a complete deception. Everyone fell for it. 1 metre left to go for Wales to travel. Alan Wynne-Jones now makes himself available, driving forward. Not quite there. Inches left to go. Wales, this is their opportunity to fight their way back into this fixture. Thomas Williams waits. They're going to have to go for another rock. Ken Owens wants the ball. Still not over. They need to go again. They need quicker ball. They've got numbers on the far side. This time Biggar passes. Williams is over. Liam Williams scores for Wales. They needed to come out. They needed to attack. They've done it. It is the start of the comeback.
Brilliant play. Putting George North in the line out. He didn't even jump. He just got thrown the ball. And that allowed Wales to catch it, to gain possession. Then it was carry after carry after carry. It shortened down the Ireland defence. And then a nice little blind play. The ball went behind, I think it was George North, to Liam Williams, who was in acres of space. And they really shortened that Irish defence well there.
And a bit of afters after that score. There was a bit of afters going on between the two teams under the post for a good minute or so.
Well,
and the referee and Angus Gardner, the touch judge, are having a little conflab of what it's over.
If we could just listen to the referee.
Yeah, Johnny, please. Johnny. Just hold it there.
Johnny Sexton being called over to speak to our referee as well. Take the conversion, but no, Dan Biggar's been told that's not going to count.
Johnny.
So Johnny Sexton has been called in. Biggar will have to take that again.
That's all caused by, number one, coming in at the end and diving on the player after he scored. So it's going to be a penalty on the restart against one. No.
Well,
go again. I need you to explain why we were going to start with a penalty for red. I need you to explain why we were going to start with a penalty for red, because of one has dived on the player and caused that.
Do you want to go and speak to him?
I will, but I just wanted to get that done. Then we can do it.
Just what you would have wanted if you're Warren Gatland. The perfect start. They score. They got among Ireland's. Bit argy-bargy, bit of passion. They're getting a penalty. The little rubs of the green that went against them in the first half. They've done exactly as he would have wanted them to do. Come out, score first. Just get themselves back in.
The key to that Welsh attack was Rio Dyer, who was on the left-hand side, who kept the width. He was right on the touchline, and that just spreads your defence slightly, and it opened up the holes for Wales to attack.
Okay, it is Wales 20. Sorry, I nearly gave the wrong side of the scoreline there as well.
We'll take it.
Wales 10, Ireland 27. And this is interesting. I don't think I've seen this in an international game before. Our referee has said this is a Wales restart with a penalty. So Biggar is completely within his right to kick it straight out of play on the far side. And Wales have got another line-out inside of the Irish 22.
There's always going to be times when teams are under pressure, and Ireland had a big lead in that first half, and Wales will always come back because mentally you switch off slightly. And now you can feel momentum is with Wales.
And Wales have gone quickly.
Until now.
No, it's not straight. It's not straight.
Killer.
That's the second line out in a key position they've missed. This one's just inside Ireland's 22. They had one towards the end of the second half, 5 metres out where it was overthrown.
Just the adrenaline, you know, Ken Owens, hugely experienced hooker, captain. Just the adrenaline, even getting to the biggest of Welsh players, you know, and just causing that little bit of nervousness and a crooked throw. It's such a critical time. Real out off Ireland.
46 minutes on the clock. Wales 10, Ireland 27. So much has happened in the space of just 6.5 minutes. We haven't even really gone into the depth of how brilliant the last line out before one was from Wales. It's gone out to the far side, a mistake now, and we're back on an Irish scrum, 15 metres out from the far side touch, inside of the Irish 22, but it's a penalty for Ireland.
That's a killer, absolute killer, coach killer as they call it. Like, it's just, you know, for Wales, they have Ireland, they've just given a crooked line out against them. They have Ireland's put it on their own 22. Ireland are going to try and play it and probably end up kicking it back to Wales, and instead they give up a penalty away at the scrum. I think pushing before the ball comes in. And
I think it was either pushing or it was a knee down from Dylan Lewis, and he's been brought on to try and steady the scrum, which struggled in the first half. And the first scrum they come, the second half, a penalty's given, and you know, from a Wales attack where they got a penalty from the try after on the halfway line, they're now back on the halfway line and it's Ireland's ball.
The penalty count might surprise you. It's Wales 10, Ireland 8. So Ireland have had a few more than perhaps a few people are thinking. They've all been racked up towards the end of that second half, and already at the end of the first half and the start of this second half, they were really quite clean for that first half hour. As Byrne loses the ball in contact, he's stripped, and it's now Wales who have it on the halfway. Ken Owens, he's being held up. He eventually gets pushed down to the earth, and Wales recycle and go once again. This is still Welsh ball just over the halfway line. Caelan Doris is told to get his big mix off the ball, leave it alone as the big pass out wide from Joe Hawkins, who manages to find Rio Dyer. Joe Hawkins, who really hasn't put a foot wrong so far in this fixture. We'll talk about more of him shortly as Wales continue their attack. Looking for work is Adams. He pushes out to Ken Owens, who juggles with the ball. He does manage to hold on, but it's going backwards at the moment for Wales. They're in attack, but this is not going north to south. It's east to west and a little bit south, actually.
At some stage, you'll slow down and they'll have to kick the ball. You don't want to play around too much in this area. You have 3 or 4 goes. If it's not on, slow it down and box kick it.
3 times Lions tourist. Tipperick goes in to shore it up so that Thomas Williams can send the ball down with a box kick. Hugo Keenan under the high ball is an absolute textbook right now.
He's been imperious in the air. He's been really fantastic. He gets penalised there for crossing, and obviously not down to him, but he's been fantastic in the air, hasn't he?
Yeah, it has been. His blocking. You can see 5 or 6 Ireland players just blocking Hugo Keenan, so he could take that cleanly. He was picked up by the linesman, and you can just feel momentum, hope, whatever you want to call it, belief seems to be coming back into the stadium, and it seems to be filtering onto the pitch.
Yeah, and it all came from me. That all came from Tyke Byrne taking the ball, took a pass on the inside from Sexton, got absolutely melted, but now instead of just taking the ball, he tried an offload, wasn't on, and then Wales come back into the game, and now you can hear the crowd.
49 minutes. Oh, there's an Irish mitt onto that ball from the line-out. Ken Owens somehow gets hold of it. Surely that's been knocked forward by Ireland. It should be Welsh advantage. Referee doesn't have his arm up at the moment. It's still Wales ball. Thomas Williams goes around the corner. It's Porter who has to flatten him to the earth. This time it's gathered. Tipperick is going. Irish green shirts just rushing round to get in the defensive line. No, it's advantage then.
Brilliant defence from Caelan Doris. Tipperick took him on around the fringes, and Doris was able to hold him up, and because he didn't get his knee to the ground when they hit the deck together, it was a maul. Fantastic bit of defence there from Caelan Doris, right under their own sticks, and you just felt there Wales had got the ball. Ireland defensively were in a bit of disorganisation, and you would have thought that would have been a perfect opportunity. Great defence.
The ball pops out the back, and Tipperick's looking to pass it, but he just hesitates slightly, and then not many people are going to lose or win a battle against Doris one-on-one. He's able to hold him up really well, and some of this last-ditch tackling from Ireland has kept them with such a great lead. Otherwise Wales would have scored 2 or 3 tries for sure.
This game is just absolutely captivating right now. After what was just complete one-way traffic in the first half, it was all about green. All of a sudden the red is rising in Cardiff. They are finding their way in this game. It is a green scrum though as it goes down on this near side. They will reset. Been that change in at tight head. Thomas Francis has gone off. Dylan Lewis is on. We are going to keep a close eye on substitutions because of course Alan Wynne-Jones very openly this week, Warren Gatland said, empty the tank for 40 minutes and then he's going to bring on Dafydd Jenkins. Haven't seen that yet.
No, but I'm sure he will. There'll have to be changes soon because they're 17 points behind. They have to change things up at some stage. I mean, they're getting opportunities, aren't they, Dennis? But they're unable to execute them.
Yeah, it's just those little half chances. They're fighting so hard. I suppose more encouragingly, to start with, there's more chances so far in the second half than we saw in the entire first half for Wales. and they're getting closer and closer. I think because Ireland's scrum looks on a little bit of pressure, they need to just get it in, get it out, and get away from this zone of the pitch.
Conor Murray does get the ball away to Lowe. Lowe uses his left boot down this near side wing. Josh Adams is there, as is Liam Williams. Williams on the halfway line manages to find Rio Dyer. He tries a little bit of footwork. It's nice. It's over the 10-metre line inside of Irish territory. Here come Wales again. Bigger. He can see space. He knows what he's looking for. The bounce the ball wasn't quite perhaps what he wanted as Lowe gathers again. Left boot down the near side. There's no one at home there for Wales. A little bit of a foot chase going on as Liam Williams is having to backtrack and gather the ball inside of his own 22. James Lowe's still there. Nice little bit of shuffle either to side. But Wales are now pinned back inside of their own half between the 10 and the 22. This time it's Faletau. He's going to have to punch a few holes. That aerial battle territory certainly won by Ireland. It's Wales who are now stuck back inside of their own half as Alan Wynne-Jones, the warhorse that he is, goes forward once again. Tadhg Beirne has not bothered to come out with his scrum hat in this second half. He's very strange to actually see him play with that one on his head as it goes high into the air from Thomas Williams. He's scored 10 tries in his time for Wales, hasn't had a sniff so far as he wins his 41st cap today. Here it comes back then for the Irish.
Better defence from Wales.
He's thumped back a good couple of metres as Tom Shanklin tells us here on 5 Live Sports Extra. This time it's Sexton, uses his right boot. And it's all about the territory. Everyone's been very careful about how they play at the moment and where they play. And maybe that's been the instruction at half-time. Here's Liam Williams on a break. He's going to be dragged down. He's got Tipuric in support. There's more red shirts out towards the far side. Rio Dyer can't quite take that final pass. He falls into touch. That was almost brilliant from Wales. We're going to restart with an Irish lineup.
A few Irish lads sucking deep there, trying to get the area in after that attack. Fantastic counter-attack by Liam Williams. And it really, for me, that came from Ireland had the ball, they took it in, and a really, really big double hit meant that Ireland went back. They had to kick it away. It wasn't a particularly good kick, and Liam Williams just took his time. Ireland's defence, the chase, the line wasn't set, and Tipuric on the inside of the pass just slightly overthrew it to Rio Dyer.
As Liam Williams is ghosting through that gap, Conor Murray tackles him from behind, and if he doesn't make that tackle, you think Liam Williams has got an easy decision there, 2-on-1.
Yeah.
But because he makes that tackle, Liam Williams has to then offload to Justin Tipuric, who can't find Rio Dyer on the left-hand side. It was like that break he did for against All Blacks for the Lions, wasn't it? Liam Williams deep from his own half, just steps left and right, goes through the gap.
Such a languid runner. He doesn't look like he's moving that fast, and he's just able to find, like the Matador, defenders going, falling for the dummies going each side of him.
Changes here for both sides. Gareth Thomas is off, Rhys Carre is on, and in the back row Justin Tipuric is off. Coming on is Tommy Reffell. And then meanwhile for Ireland, they've made a change though. Tadhg Beirne, he is off the field. On in his place Ian Henderson. He's been out since the 14th of January as he's been coming back from concussion. What a moment to come onto the field. Wales 10, Ireland 27, 54 minutes on the clock. Now, was there a late hit there on Liam Williams? The crowd thinks there is. Whistle goes into the air.
I'll have to see it again.
Okay. Well, he's shaking out his shoulder at the moment, Liam Williams. He's really unhappy. I mean, it's what we're going to call a rugby incident here. I totally appreciate why Wales fans don't like it. But the Irish fan that comes in, the Irish player that comes in, he was flying through, whether it's safe.
There's a loose hand, catches him. Listen in now.
We're going to listen to Carl Dixon talk to the television match official.
Okay, so let's wait. Okay, so let's have a look then. Perfect, mate, thank you.
They're just waiting for it to come on the big screen, and he's just pushing away both sides as they try and talk to him.
Okay, so clearly not in a position, and then plays the man after.
Yeah, but it's not far.
Luke.
This will give us the best angle, which we are fortunate to see. Liam Williams kicks
nowhere
it.
near the ball.
Well, Ian Henderson is coming in, he's trying to charge down the ball.
We're just looking at, so we're looking, he doesn't change his body position, so I'm looking at a penalty only, and where the ball lands. Okay.
I think that's right. I mean, Ian Henderson wasn't really in a position to charge it down. He jumps up in the air to try and charge it down, but he jumps way too early and
right
catches Liam on the way down. Liam Williams on the way down. So it's not a yellow card offence. It's a penalty. They've checked it over. I think it's good refereeing and the right outcome.
But Ireland had very little momentum, very little phases they've been able to. It's just stop-start penalties, ill-discipline creeping into their game, and it's exactly what Wales want. You know, it's been all Wales in the second half. They haven't been able to capitalise every time, but the more chances they get, the more likely they're going to capitalise. And here's another one, great attacking line out inside the Irish 22. Can Ken Owens throw it straight now? This will be the big pressure.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. All eyes now on Ken Owens and getting that ball in cleanly. Wales 10, Ireland 27, 55 minutes, and it does come out on the Welsh side. Going through the middle is George North, but it's stolen straight away. Wonderful work by Ringrose. It spans out the near side. Oh, was that held by Keenan? Referee says yes. He had to drag that one off round his ankles, somehow managed to hold on to it, and Ireland have it back inside of their own half. They're playing out of their own 22. That's a risky business on the far side. It doesn't work for Ireland. It's Rio Dyer flying through. You could see when Sexton kicked that there was definitely cover from Wales. What was he thinking? Maybe he couldn't see him. It's Welsh ball once again. 15 metres left to go. Faletau. He puts his body forward. Ruck once again for Wales. It's once again coughed up on the Irish side, knocked on by Wales. This time Matt Hansen sends it down the line. It's still in play. I hope you can handle this. It's getting nervy here in the Principality on 5 Live Sports Extra. Wales have been pushed all the way back to the Irish 10-metre line. They're still at the right end of the field. The opportunity was given to them by Ireland. They couldn't hold on to the ball. Ireland have stripped Wales twice in the space of a minute.
Ball's exposed.
And there you go. There's the warning for Thomas Williams to get on with it. It was Caelan Doris who's being an absolute nuisance over the top there, and it's slow ball as a result. Penalty. And it's going to be a penalty. And that means Ireland can clear.
Caelan Doris is getting into position, and I think it's Josh Adams, I think, just takes him out of it well past the ball. What a passage of play that was, that cross kick. And it was actually a planned play because Peter Mahoney it's kept to the side. They went Ireland played out the back inside their own 22, and instead of kicking it deep, he cross kicked it, and Rio Dyer just picked it up, and he'd be really disappointed he didn't score there.
It's another wasted opportunity though from a line out in Ireland's 22. That time Rio Dyer, his first receiver, is trying to pass the ball to George North, but it's not clear, it's not concise. It goes behind George North. They fumble the ball, they give Ireland back the ball, but then they get back into it. You know, that would have tired them out completely. Lucky there's an injury now, because there'll be a lot of people sucking in some air through their lungs.
You can see it. This is where, there's a lot of old heads in the Welsh team and a few in the Irish team as well. You want to see, this is where you see the use of the bench from both sides is going to be really critical.
I should say, you are listening to the Six Nations here on 5 Live Sports Extra. If you are looking for the football, then of course it's Manchester United against Crystal Palace. That's live right now on 5 Live with Ian Dennis. He's alongside Chris Waddle. And then coming up at 4:45 on 5 Live, they'll head straight from the football back to the rugby. It'll be England against Scotland in the Calcutta Cup.
Is this, we're just on the Ireland line just outside the Welsh 22. I think this is the nearest Ireland have been in the whole second half.
I think it may well be. And 57 minutes on the clock. Big moment for Sheehan. He managed to find Henderson straight away. Irish nerves just starting to creep up ever so slightly with the real bounce that Wales have had in this second half as Murray comes away. Hansen, hungry for work off that right wing, comes in to take the ball. We could see there, all of a sudden looking very lively, was Tommy Raffel. He's trying to make that impact that they'll want off the bench. He didn't get the ball on that occasion. Murray once again, they've got short numbers on this side, Ireland. You can tell there's some tired bodies at the moment out there. They're being pushed backwards, Ireland. This is not quick ball.
Great defence from Wales, and really this is, it's been a sea change in Wales defence, their attitude and their ferocity in the defence in the second half. They're double tackling, they're meeting Ireland on the gain line, they're winning some of those collisions, and even when Ireland are getting the ball back now, it's a lot slower.
Matt Hansen goes into play, scrum half. Sexton with the pass out. It's been read so well there by George North. He's got his opposite number in Ringrose wrapped around him. And Ireland, they are the team now going laterally. They cannot find a way to get over the gain line in these attacks. Peter O'Mahony now, he has to go forward. I don't know how many phases are up to, 9 now, 9 phases. And I can tell you, Ireland are going nowhere. Doris, he punches forward again. and they're in this big sort of clump in the middle at the moment. Lowe is still hanging out on the left wing on his own. Here's Ringrose. He's not going to get quick ball away because George North is doing a wonderful defensive effort on him right now. This time it's gathered by Murray. Beelum once again. O'Mahony, we're playing penalty advantage now.
17 and 18.
They've been caught offside. It's the replacement props and a big hit going in on James Lowe. Still advantage. Are they going to play it? Still going through Dan Sheehan on the far side. He hacks the ball on the foot chase. It goes out of play on the far side. They'll come back for the penalty.
More on the outside, Tom.
A couple of penalty opportunities there. Ireland had a free attack once they got the first decision, and I think it was James Lowe who was screaming, said on their second attack they got the ball slapped down, ball shot out there, and I just thought there that I thought that Dan Sheehan was going to do a little run down the wing and managed to go around the outside, such as his ability to do so, but he put the ball to boot and went out.
He looks quick enough to be a winger. Really good footwork as well from him, but Wales weren't really under too much pressure. They were putting some big hits in. Ireland really weren't going anywhere, and they've given a penalty away for being offside. It was 17 and 18, which Wales players which were offside. That was Rhys Carey and Dylan Lewis, but they didn't need to be because there were no line breaks. They weren't backpedaling.
A big statement now, an easily very kickable penalty position there. Ireland decided instead to go for the corner, and the penalty actually. He gave him the option for the slap down there from Dan Biggar. Had a look at it, didn't think it was a yellow card, probably the right call there. But Ireland, an attacking position, they cut and drove the last line out, and most in the first half, most of the Ireland line outs, they were going off the top, they're going to the back. I feel maybe another catch and drive coming on here. I think Tom O'Toole is on now as well for Ireland at 18.
3 changes. Tom O'Toole coming on, Jack Conan coming on, and Bundy Aki. Just confirm it's Peter O'Mahony who's gone off there. Obviously coming off at 12 was McCluskey as well, and then obviously it's Beelum who's gone off as Ireland are now pushing away on the far side of the field. They're about 5 metres away from the Welsh line. Remember, one more try, they get the bonus, but that's a penalty for Wales.
Infringing more this half, Ireland. They're squeaky clean, weren't they, up to about 35 minutes in the first half, and that didn't allow Wales to get into the game. Now they're under a bit more pressure. It was their ball then, I get it, but they are infringing.
Yeah, they just got isolated there. Andrew Porter broke away from the maul. The maul, the guys at the back of the maul turned inward, so they're back in towards the touchline, and they broke away up the inside, and they lost. Andrew Porter just lost his support.
Rhys Carey was in straight away in the tackle position, gets his hands on the ball. He make a big impact. If we can get Rhys Carey with the ball in hand going forward, especially off a line-up peel, which he does so many times for Cardiff, he'll make a dent into that Irish defence.
Well, the day of the big man is finally over. Alan Wynne-Jones is making his way off the field. Also Ken Owens as well. So coming on in their place, Scott Baldwin joins the fray, as does David Jenkins. I mean, taking off those two players at the same time. I mean, talk about changing of the guard. The youth coming through. This is their moment.
Yeah, the youth coming through, although Scott Baldwin is slightly old. But yeah, it is. But Wales need to do something. They need to change something to try and get back into this game, because they're still 17 points behind.
I am contractually obliged to remind you that yes, it was Scott Baldwin who was bitten by a lion all that time ago, but we will move on from that because we don't need to discuss it again. It was a long time ago now. Wales 10, Ireland 27. It's Wales on the ball. Kick down the field, really nice from Joe Hawkins as the ball's just bobbling alone. Keenan's watching it, see if it goes over the line. It does. That's really nice work there by Keenan, just knowing the flashing offender. Let's talk about Joe Hawkins quickly.
Just quickly, I think Hugo Keenan thought that it might have been a dropout 22 because he taps the ball down and he starts running to the 22, and Carl Dixon makes him come back. Who are we meant to talk about? Joe Hawkins.
Yes.
Yeah, he's had a really good game, I think. He's been one of the shining lights in Wales so far. His carrying ability, his mixing up of kick, pass, run. He's able to draw defenders and put him behind. He's looked really good. He's probably, I think, maybe Wales' best player so far.
What have you made of him?
Yeah, certainly in the first half when Wales didn't have a huge amount to shout about, he put in a few nice touches and a few very strong carries. And a young player, forget he's only 20 years of age, very, very young. And second cap, really good performance so far from him.
Liam Williams coming on the angle again for Wales inside of the Irish half between the 10 and the 22. They're in the middle of the field. Here comes the first carry from Scott Baldwin. He's made his way around the clubs, of course. He's now at Ospreys, but he spent some time with Quins and Worcester as it's pushed towards the far side. It's Rio Zaya. Another youngster who's looking at home in a Wales shirt. They might be down at the moment. They've managed to really close out Ireland in this second half, and it is some of the youngsters who are shining.
The numbers here.
Thomas Williams, he decided to snipe round the corner. Ireland trying to get over the top.
Huge,
it's going to be a penalty for Ireland. Holding on the floor.
Huge moment there. Wales really in ascendancy. Just simple hands down the left-hand side, drawing pass, which got Rio Dyer going into a bit of space and really accelerate into that, which got Wales about 10 metres out, then a couple of carries, and Bundee Aki just looks for the opportunity straight on that ball.
It looked very, that ball that the Wales put through the hands looked very easy, didn't it? Looked very easy. They found the space on the outside for Rio Dyer, put him in space, just simple hands, so rarely seen and so effective.
The information I had is a tackle off the ball by number, Tom, please.
Changed.
They're just waiting for a number.
Tackle on number 13 by Aki has prevented him getting there to see out. It's going to be a penalty here.
He's reversed his decision. There was an error by Bundee Aki. That means it's going to be a penalty reversed. Wales will get it. They're back inside of that Irish 22. This is a lovely position for Wales.
There it is.
Yes, it is.
Harsh. That's a bit of a harsh decision, I think.
What Bundee Aki's been done for is when the ball's been carried in, George North has been supporting run. He's been tackled without the ball by Bundee Aki, which has not allowed him to get to the ruck, and that's what's allowed Bundee Aki to jackal that ball. But Wales have been in this opportunity before, they've been in this position before, but they've not come away with anything. At some stage you're going to have to turn this line out 5 metres out into a try.
Here we go then, it's Scott Baldwin this time. He's hand the ball, they've got to change at scrum half. We can see Rhys Webb comes onto the field. Baldwin with the ball and
lost it.
What a jump into the air from James Ryan.
Great defensive line.
I mean, he's thumped himself down to the earth. I mean, fair play. Talk about putting your body on the line. I mean, James Ryan, take a bow when you eventually pick yourself up from the floor. It is Ireland's ball. Incredible defensive work from them at the line-out. Absolutely brilliant. And they're now trying to clear this one through a box kick.
But it's such a huge call as well, to defend a line out 5 yards out. It's a big decision for the defending team to actually put someone up in the air, because if they put Ryan up there and he doesn't get the ball, they've got a big hole in their line out. But they just timed it to perfection, get him up right in the middle, up in front, and
they could put him down a bit
steal.
nicer.
They could have, all right.
Blimey, they're all meant to be friends. Right then, it's a Wales line out, but it is not in the place where it was.
How many times we spoke about this in the second half? Just Wales getting possession and a line out and not doing anything with it.
Well, Rio Dyer, who's had a very good afternoon in what is a Wales team that have been struggling. He's really come to life, and this is nice from Wales. Can they have numbers on this near side? Then approaching that Irish 22, and it's gone forwards on the floor, knocked on by Wales. Ireland have managed to turn it over as well. They're just saying no because they think there's an injured player down on the ground. Someone has hurt themselves.
Joe Hawkins stepped inside there as they were coming down the right hand side, stepped inside the tackle, and James Lowe just gets his arm on the ball and rips it out.
I wonder, I see, I think it was Liam Williams just clattered into Johnny Sexton just in around the head, and we know he's just back after a fractured cheekbone and jaw, and I see the medical attention's coming on, giving him a bit of treatment around his face.
Well, we're going to keep a close eye on this, as Dennis Hickey rightly says. We haven't seen Johnny Sexton play any rugby since New Year's Day. He got a big thwack that involved him having to go off for surgery. And he's actually now sat up, and it looks like it's actually his leg he's having treatment for, which is good for his face. I don't think there's any problem with the actual collision itself. It might have been what happened afterwards. We're just watching the replays now.
Well, I think they're going to have a look at Liam Williams' left shoulder.
I think it could be a high tackle on Johnny Sexton. There's no dip in the hip by Liam Williams. He's not looked to go low.
Let's listen into the referee.
So, Tom, we can put the angles up. We haven't got anything on the screen as yet. Okay. Just for a minute.
Well, Carl Dixon is just waiting to see that shot once again. Here it comes. It is Sexton's head, as you rightly say, going into Liam Williams' shoulder.
So he's at fault because he's upright, direct contact, but I'm not seeing this as a high degree of danger. Gussie, you've seen the same thing there, not a high degree of danger. Just hold. and there's no mitigation, so we're looking at just a yellow card against 15 red. Yeah,
I'm not sure. In today's game, I would say
that's
that probably
card, 15,
should be a yellow, because there is no dip. He's gone high, connection has been made with the head.
You're giving him a yellow, yeah.
He has given him a yellow.
Liam Williams off for 10 minutes, yellow card, as it is still Wales 10, Ireland 27.
He was talking into it. It sounded like he said not a high degree of danger, and he was just going to let him away with the penalty, and then he said yellow card. So yeah, I don't think it was any more than that. Like Johnny Sexton was coming in at an angle, and Liam Williams getting up from the ground. So, but he has a duty of care, and he certainly hit him in the shoulder and the face.
You can't tackle upright anymore, and if you do, sometimes you get lucky with it, but there is a chance you're going to connect with the head, a high chance level you're going to connect with the head, and if you do, it's going to be a yellow or red.
And that's something I don't like to see at all, and that has just put a big boo around the stadium, is a director somewhere has decided to do a slow-mo of Johnny Sexton winking on the camera after the yellow card is given. A huge boo goes up around. It's a bit unnecessary from whoever's choosing the shots.
Yeah, well, Johnny Sexton has become a bit of a pantomime villain in Wales.
Yeah, but it could also be a wink, Sam, okay. You don't know.
It happens everywhere. Liam Williams, when he got charged down, he was rubbing his shoulder for ages and ages, and he was barely touched. So
yeah, exactly.
It happens.
Exactly. Right then, Bundyaki coming through the middle of the park, doing Bundyaki things, as we know he does. Craig Casey on the field now for Ireland. Oh, Rio Dyer now. Could this be a yellow? No.
Just a knock on.
Just a knock on. It was a forced knock on, but just a knock
James
on.
Lowe there, it passed from left to right, and he was just, it was a split second of indecision. He wasn't sure if he was going to go for the short pass or the long pass over the top. Short pass to Keenan, and Rio Dyer had an opportunity there to take. I'm not sure he would have made it because there was a bit of defence, but
I'm not sure he's decisive enough either. He wasn't quite sure whether to take the pass or go for the tackle.
Correct.
If he'd gone for the pass, looked to intercept, he would have taken that. But he just took his eyes off it momentarily.
Well, it was a knock-on then from Wales. Rio Dyer's gone to just taking some oxygen, because I think if we'd have gone back about 5 years, that would have been a yellow card, but they've slightly tweaked the law in that area now, that it's not quite as vociferous as it used to be.
He didn't slap it down. He genuinely went for the catch and knocked it on.
Exactly. So here comes out the ball, and Rhys Webb is wrapping up Craig Casey and saying, welcome to the Six Nations. Let us not forget, this is Craig Casey's debut in the tournament, and Rhys Webb is making him feel very welcome as he wins a penalty for his country.
Way too slow there from Craig Casey. I know the scrum turned, but he just took way too indecisive. Thought he'd get way more time than he was going to get, and flipped over, ragdoll there, and a penalty.
Right, it's a bit of deja vu now, isn't it? Back into Ireland's 22, 10 metres out with a Wales line out. What can they, first of all, they've got to win it.
Now, Johnny Sexton has just put his head down, put it back up again, and I don't know if he's taken a hit or something, but our referee Carl Dixon is a little bit concerned about him. He's stopped the clock as Dan Biggar is about to go off, and Owen Williams is going to come on. And they keep on pointing at Johnny Sexton. They need to get him off the field. He's clearly not happy. I don't know why Carl Dixon knows this and nobody else does.
Aware of what's going on, number 10.
Doesn't seem to be fully aware of what is going on. Johnny Sexton is going to have to go off. This is where rugby ties itself up in knots. How can a referee say that?
Suspected even.
Exactly. And then Johnny Sexton is staying on the field. The doctor was there. Oh, rugby union, you don't do yourself any favours at times. Right then, Wales have taken the line out. They're down to 14 at the moment. It's Wales 10, Ireland 27. Johnny Sexton staying on the field of play, despite the referee saying he wasn't happy with Johnny Sexton's behaviour, indicating maybe he'd had a head knock that has gone undiagnosed. He's heavily involved in this latest collision. It was a maul. It was taken in by Wales. It's been held up by Ireland. We will reset with a scrum, but surely a doctor has got to go in and talk to Sexton now.
It was George North there taking the ball. It was a line-out drive. Wales caught it cleanly. They weren't going anywhere with the drive. Then it was hit short to George North, and he's run very upright into two players. They've just managed to get underneath him. If you're going to take the ball like that, you need to isolate one-on-one player. If you don't, you're going to get held up. He's held up by Johnny Sexton and Josh van der Fleer. As soon as Moore's called, that is golden then. for the defence. They don't have to move it. The ball goes down, it's not available, it's going to be a turnover. You have to do better than that when you're taking the ball into contact. You have to go lower if you're going into two people.
Sure, and it sums up Wales' day, really. You know, they've had, in the second half in particular, they've had 5 or 6 really good attacking platforms in Ireland's 22. And for one reason or another, it just hasn't. They've either poor execution of the line out, getting turnover like they did there, getting held up. They just haven't been clinical enough at all. And now with 68 minutes gone, they just run out of time. They've had their chances, and they could still score, but you just feel that there was a period in the game earlier on, they just had a chance to get back into the game, and Ireland were there, vulnerable there for a while.
That's been the big difference. Ireland took their chances in the first half. It's been all about Wales in the second half. It was all about Ireland in the first half, and they scored 27 points. You know, come the second half, you cannot say Wales have not had chances. They've had loads, but they've not been able to convert them.
A lot has gone on here. There's been a lot of changes for both sides. Sexton is off, Ross Byrne is on. There's changes also for Ireland as they now attack inside of the Irish half. Don't forget that Wales is still down to 14 as well. Liam Williams in the bin. We're on 69 minutes at the Principality Stadium on 5 Live Sports Extra. Wales 10. Ireland 27. Surely not enough time now for Wales with a man down to get back into this fixture. But don't forget, Ireland have not scored a point so far in this second half. Ball is on the floor, gathered in the end by Rhys Webb. We should say Owen Williams is on the field now for Wales. They've had other changes as well that we will work through in the next stoppage as it goes towards the far side. Josh Adams is there as well. Williams calling for the shots, trying to push out the players. Is this turnover ball? No, it's not. Still comes out. Tommy Rafell making sure his presence is known. Placed backwards. Still Welsh ball, but slightly slower than they would like. Faletau pushes it forwards. He got good support on his shoulder there by Jenkins. A lot of Irish defence for the time being, pushed towards this near side. It's Wales who have 14. Ireland cannot get their hands on the ball. Going in over the top is Bundy Aki. He's managed to turn it over as well. It was all worth the effort. Comes back to Ross Byrne. He sends it down the field. And remember, they've got to get back. They have lost a player in the backfield, so it's Williams who's having to go and backtrack. He should be coming in the fly half position, and they're having to rearrange themselves in the backfield all the time to cover.
That is not a good kick. And Ireland have a chance through Keenan attacking again. If Ireland can get any sort of shape.
Well, they had plenty of shape in the first half. Can we see it in the second? James Lowe busts through. It's Ireland going forward inside of the Welsh half. Between the 10 and the 22. Oh, Bundy Aki wants this. He's absolutely got the bit between his teeth. He's refusing to be tackled. Van der Fleer pushes it towards the far side. Nice welcome from Ringrose. Keenan with the pass out wide. Mac Hansen is there. He's still going forward with the footwork. The fight is still here for Ireland. Sheehan now arrives. Down on the ground. This is still Irish ball, waiting for it to come out the back. Craig Casey arrives. Conan, he pushes forward. How many phases? Just the 5 so far. That's the back and forth we've had between the two sides. Doris is there. He finds Lowe. There's Welsh players going in over the top. It was George North causing a nuisance on that occasion. Ian Henderson. They're about 15 metres away from that Welsh try line. They don't have the bonus point yet. The clock is against them. Matt Hansen outrides Sheehan again. He is surely going to be thumped into the park. No, he manages to stay in. It's Ross Byrne now. How this ball is staying alive.
Great defence from Josh
Adams.
Incredible.
Conan now. Craig Casey gathers, pushes it back. 5 metres left for the green shirts to travel, to get over the line, to get the bonus point, to make this game theirs. Casey, he sniped round the corner. It wasn't to be. The big men arrive this time of Ireland. Wales have to hold this. It's 1 metre left for Ireland to go. 13 phases they have worked through. Conan waits. Henderson waits. They work together as a team. It's legal as the referee. No pre-latching. Van der Fleer! There's the bonus point try.
Very relentless there from Ireland at the end. They had a fantastic opportunity about 8 phases previous to that, and I thought they'd messed it up. They had numbers and just a miscommunication between Keenan and Hansen, but somehow they recovered. They went down the right hand side with Sheehan. I thought he was going to get through. Fantastic, huge hit from Josh Adams, but Sheehan managed to get the ball back inside, and then they were just patient. They worked it their way inside. Casey was pulling the strings, sniped around a few times, but then the heavy artillery arrived, and then Josh Van der Fleer kind of walked in right at the end. Wales just ran out of defenders.
72 minutes it's taken Ireland to score in this second half, because
not 72 minutes.
No, you're right.
32 minutes.
Just checking you were listening.
Thank you.
32 minutes, yeah. Because they scored so many in the first half. But you wouldn't have thought that after that first half performance, because it has all been Wales. But when there's an opportunity there, Ireland just know how to take it. Wales are down to 14 men, and there was space everywhere by the end. You know, Ireland could have picked their pass, really. They just carried, they composed, waited for the opportunity, looked after the ball, and then it opened up for Josh van der Flier under the post.
Let us not forget that next week, Wales, they're going to be travelling to Murrayfield to take on Scotland. This could be a very long tournament. And there's no easy games in the Six Nations. We know that Italy are going to be resurgent. They will be so superpowered after the result they got right here in this stadium on the last game in 2022.
Very happy coach's box there flashed up on screen. Paul O'Connell and Simon Easterby, my old two teammates, plotting the forward dominance that we've seen from Ireland today.
We've still got a few moments of this yellow card that Wales have got to somehow get through. 1 minute left of it until they can get the 15th man back on the field. It has cost them a try against them so far as Faletau takes on the ball once again. Of course, another 3 times lines tourist. There's plenty of them in this Welsh setup, but hasn't been their day. Oh, James Lowe, he almost bats the ball backwards to try and keep it in play. You'd argue that was a knock-on. Referee says no, he's happy it went backwards by Lowe. Wales have regathered on the halfway line. Here comes Dafydd Jenkins, who of course plays his rugby now in Exeter, Bridgend-born second row. He came on in the end for Alan Wynne-Jones, who played a little bit more of the second half than we were all expecting. Was there a hand in there? Yes, there was from Wales. Slapped down the ball.
Rhys Webb was leaning on the ruck. He wasn't behind the ruck. And he slaps the ball down as Craig Casey tries to pass, slaps his hand.
Well, Rob Herring also onto the field now for Ireland.
Doesn't really matter what Wales do now anyway. The game is completely gone. There's 5 minutes left. They're 24 points behind. They've got to try and do something. Try and end on a positive.
Yeah, you have a feeling that Ireland are probably just going to strangle the life out of the game now. They've got the possession 5 minutes ago. Liam Williams coming back on the pitch as Ireland kick. Have an attacking line out. Maybe suspect another catch and drive, just run down the clock, suck the Welsh defenders in. Wales look tired. They've a lot of tired bodies out there. They've made a lot of tackles.
This is where you take 60 seconds for your conversion now.
60 seconds, the line out throw, if they could get away with it, I'd say.
Ball comes in then from Herring. This is an Irish attack. They are inside of the Welsh half, and it's Hansen who managed to give a lovely pass in contact. Really clever stuff there to Ringrose. He goes down on the ground, but it's been stripped. It's gone forwards. It's still going to be an Irish ball.
Some of the offloads have been brilliant from Ireland in the second half. Just be able to keep the ball alive. Blind offloads out the back. It just changes the point of defence. So it stops Wales from setting the gain line. They keep having to backpedal, and offloads can absolutely ruin defences.
Yeah, Mac Hansen, I think, is 2 or 3 of them so far in this half alone, out the back. While shipping big tackles at the same time.
Player of the match, Hugo Keenan. We are not surprised at all. He has been imperious in the air. If anyone out there, a young boy or girl, wants to know how to deal with aerial balls, just sit down and watch videos of Hugo Keenan.
Also, the ground he covers, whether it's attack or defence, it doesn't matter. He's just as good at both. His work rate is absolutely incredible. And yet, completely agree. He's man of the match. Dan Sheehan might have pushed him pretty close.
Caelan Doris close at that as well.
So much energy, so much game intelligence. Those were the words of Andy Farrell about Hugo Keenan just this week as the scrum goes down to the earth. You're not missing anything. We're on 76 minutes. It's nearly all over. Wales 10, Ireland 34. A bonus point result for them. As we're closing in on this, Tom Shanklin, you're not going to be staying long with us at full time, although Dennis Hickey, you're going to join us for the Rugby Union Daily podcast. What kind of an effect is this going to have on Wales? Because this isn't just a loss, it's a heavy loss, and it's a bad performance.
I would have stayed if Wales had won, by the way. Just seeing that.
Could have been able to get rid of them.
But no, look, psychologically, I think this would be a massive blow to them, because everyone was talking about Gatland's back, the Gatland effect, the self-belief. Everyone was coming into this quietly confident. We obviously weren't number one team going into this. We weren't favourites, but we thought we'd offer more. But the first half just absolutely ruined Wales. They were nowhere near the physical standard you needed to be. They weren't being able to hit Ireland back, and it's been a heavy loss. But you have to say, Ireland have deserved this.
They've lived up. We were talking about the pressure of Ireland, carrying this burden of being the world number one team. How would they deal with it? you know, they did embrace before the game. They didn't shy away from it, and most importantly, and this is maybe what Irish teams haven't done when they've been in this position before, they've backed it up with a really, really strong performance. There's certainly elements of their performance in the second half they won't be happy with. They gave away a lot of penalties, but when it's mattered, they were clinical when they had attacking chances in the first half, and you know they've got the bonus point here as well in Cardiff. No mean feat. 34 points to 10 in Cardiff. Ireland haven't won in here in 10 years. It's a significant result for Irish rugby. No matter the world rankings, no matter anything else. The Six Nations, and Cardiff is still Cardiff. It's a tough place to come and win.
Well, the crowd has certainly been silenced as we approach the last minute and a half of this opening Six Nations match. It's certainly been a green day. Alex Cuthbert is also on the field now for Wales, who are basically stuck in a big bowl of porridge inside of their own half. It's sticky, it needs more milk, it is absolutely awful. It's starting to dry out. That's how painful some of this Welsh attack has been at times, but that's just credit to the incredible Irish defence and their performance here today. We thought we were going to see a bit of a Welsh comeback. The opening sort of 10 to 15 minutes of this second half were fantastic from Wales, but it was only 15 minutes.
Yeah, whether you say it's missed opportunities from Wales because they certainly had some, or you say it's some amazing defence from Ireland. You look at Hugo Keenan with a kick ahead in the first half, Stuart McCluskey tackle on bigger, Andrew Porter holding up Jack Morgan over the line, and that Wales have had the opportunities, okay, so you take that as a positive. They've created opportunities, they haven't been able to finish them, and that, I think Rio Dyer and Joe Hawkins have been the two shining lights in the Welsh team. The two youngsters have stood out today. Apart from that, not much else to shout about.
Okay, so Ireland won a penalty inside of the Wales half by about 10 metres. They could have kicked for goal and wound down the clock, but no, they have gone for a line out. They want to play. They want to finish this in style, so why not? What have they got as the last throw of the dice? 10 metres out from the Wales line. Can Wales defend something here? Are their heads up? Are their heads down? A big moment for both sides just as they leave their final marker on this fixture. Rob Herring, the Ulster man, made his debut back in 2014. He gets the ball in, it's short towards the front, taken by Henderson. And here comes the Irish maul. They haven't actually scored a direct try from this position throughout the whole match. They haven't had to. It's at the back now. The warning to use it to Herring. He peels off the back. The red shirts are over the top. Somehow Ireland have held on to that. There was huge Welsh pressure coming in. It's all piling down now on the shoulders of Ringrose. He's pushing forward back towards the near side. Herring, who's those fresh legs off the bench, is happy to still power through the red shirt. Still about 6 metres left for Ireland to go over for not just a fourth try but a fifth try is what they want now. Crossfield kick. Oh, this could be on. Mac Hansen can't quite take. He's bundled into touch.
Great bit of defence. Fantastic defence.
That will be the game. It is all over. Ireland win. The Slammers alive. They are world number ones right now for something. It was so professional. Classy stuff. Wales, boy, have they got a lot of homework to do. Final score here at the Principality. Wales 10, Ireland 34. First of all, Ireland, Dennis Hickey. Oh my goodness. They have not dropped off. They have raised the level since the autumn. Onwards from here to France next week.
Yeah, it was a start. It was the clinical nature of the start. You know, first match of the Six Nations, you're not quite sure. They've been away in camp for 2 weeks. You know, they spent a lot of time together, but until you actually get to run out and play a game, but they looked sharp right from the off, and that was the difference. They just hit the ground running. They didn't make any mistakes. We gave away very few penalties in that first half, and just racked up a lead that Wales, shell-shocked Wales. Wales came back into it, but from an Irish perspective, I think they'll be very happy with the way they adapted with the late changes they had to make, both obviously earlier this week and as late as this morning, the changes to the bench. And the game plan didn't change at all, and they had some really big performances from Caelan Doris and Hugo Keenan, man of the match, and a couple of others. Tyke Byrne as well was very influential in the first half, and James Ryan as well, a couple of very big carries. So overall, they'll be very happy that they've kind of backed up their status, I suppose, coming into the tournament. They'll have tougher games in today's match against Wales. Wales were poor. We have to you have to realise that Wales were poor. And that Wales will have a lot of work to do, and they'll really have to regroup for their trip to Scotland. But for Ireland, they go home. Their next match is at home against France, a mouth-watering prospect. People are talking about this, have been talking about this game for a long time. The top 1 and 2 world ranked teams. I think it's the first time Northern Hemisphere have had 1 and 2 in the world rankings at the same year. They're going to be playing next week in Dublin, so it's a huge match. But 2 very different roads for these teams after this match to go down. But it's a long tournament, so let's see what happens.
Tom Shanklin, before I let you go, do enjoy that corporate box in Wales, because I think there's going to be a lot to chat about. I mean, this isn't a disrespectful question, but what can Gatland do?
He has to get his team to come out in the first half like they did in the second half. They came out cold, they were out-muscled, outplayed by Ireland right from the off. For 35 minutes, Ireland absolutely dominated that game. Discipline was poor in the first half, which gave Ireland territory and possession. But second half, they were better, but they've got to have more of a killer instinct, because you only get a certain amount of opportunities in a game, and when you get those opportunities 2 or 5 metres out, you've got to take them.
Thank you both so much for your time. Denis Hickie, Tom Shanklin. Dennis, I'll see you in Dublin next week. It should be good. 1 versus 2 in the world. Good luck, Shanks, with Murrayfield next week. But that is it here on Extra. Coming up at 5:30, you can hear the first half commentary of Newcastle against West Ham. The second half will be on 5 Live. But of course, that will be after England against Scotland. That will be on 5 Live, kicking off at 4:45 with Chris Jones, Matt Dawson and John Barclay. It's all over here at the Principality. Game 1 is over. It finished Wales 10, Ireland 34.